About 5 days. Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 7 of the Chessable British Championships. The action is it's really hard to know who's gonna emerge the champion. There's any
Yes.
number of people that it could be, so it's very exciting at the moment. We are going to dive straight into the games. And on top board, half a point clear, we have 2 players. We've got Keith Arkle, who is playing white against Harry Grieve. And I'm going to show it.
Yeah, I haven't seen the game yet. As I said,
from the start because it's going to be a very interesting game.
Recently. So how has Harry Grieve got the advantage?
Yes, because Keith's played his usual stuff. So c4, we've seen this many times before, haven't we, John?
Yeah.
And Keith does an early capture on d5. And the reason he does it is he prefers e-pawns to c-pawns.
And he does. He thinks they are better. They're better babies.
He basically thinks they're better. And so already on move 3, he's got an e-pawn. Black has only a c-pawn.
I mean, I'm not sure if he normally takes that early, or he just wanted to stop the d takes c4 nonsense.
Yeah, he does normally play early. I mean, it might not be exactly that move, but it's normally like move 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So he's really got it in at the first opportunity in this game.
Yeah. So now he played knight c3, knight f3. Okay.
Yes, c6 and then knight c3.
Yeah.
And Harry plays bishop f5,
which is obviously a reasonable move.
Yep.
Bishop g5 or something.
Yeah. Yes. Bishop e7. These bishops come off straight away.
Yeah.
e3. Knight f6.
Bishop d3, keep it play.
And these bishops come off already.
And he just likes this position, doesn't he, normally?
Keith, yeah. So what he does, he'll put his rooks in the middle, castle king side. He often gets his knight round to d3. He gets a3, b4 in.
And he just tries to squeeze on the twin side slowly.
Yeah.
So presumably black castled it, as you might expect. I mean, I have to say that as black, you think, well, okay, maybe our opponent's a tiny bit better. You're pretty bit nervous against Keith, but in principle, if you could have a choice between this and the starting position, you'd probably take this, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it should be just equal, right, for black?
It's fine for that,
yeah. Castles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at this kind of position in detail in Chess for Life about what Keith had played, and he wins game after game in this, like against maybe people not quite Harry Grieve's level, but strong players, over 2,200 players, and he had like almost 100%, like very few draws, which was surprising. Given we think
he doesn't play b4 now, then what does he play? Knight d2 or something?
Can't play b4 because the queen's.
Well, I know, but that takes rook b1. I wasn't sure if you could do that or not.
Yeah, so he's brought his queen
c2
back.
first.
I think this is because he wants to put his knight on d3. He often.
Well, he also wants to be able to play knight e4 to take it and go knight d2 if he wants to, which you couldn't previously. I mean, after knight e4.
Yeah. Okay, if black plays knight e4, you take and move your knight. Yes.
Yeah. So now rook e8 or rook a8 or something, or a5.
Rook e1, rook e8, rook c1, queen d6 from Harry.
Comfortable, isn't he?
Yeah. Now Kevin Winter's saying it's going to be a great upset if Harry wins the title. Maybe. I mean, not.
But there are lots of guys who are actually rather strong players.
Yes, he's strong.
I mean, all these guys who I don't really know very well because they're 2 generations, 3 generations below me or something. I know all the guys who are titled mostly, or certainly the grandmasters, and some of these IMs are very good as well.
Yes.
Is he the guy who beat out Ivanka in some very, very violent Caro? Is that Harry Grieve?
I couldn't tell you that. What I do know is Harry Grieve won the like the 24-hour checkmate COVID, and they played all night, and it was very close with him and Danny Gormally right at the end, and Harry Grieve just won it.
Right. So knight e2, that doesn't look like a great move. So knight e4.
Yep. Oh, okay. So knight e4 and knight f4. So actually, that's. Oh, yeah. Keith does do this, doesn't he? Because then he puts it back on d3 from
Yeah,
there.
he's just moving his boys around merrily. He's not. So now what happened? G6 probably, I'm guessing.
Yeah, a4, knight d3, g6.
Yeah, and Black's just not doing anything. He's not giving him anything to bite on, is he? He's being quite rude, really.
Being quite rude. Not giving Keith what he wants. Knight
No.
fe5.
Yeah, did he take it or?
Takes. They haven't got many pieces left on. c5.
Okay, c5 is a move you want to play if you can, but it's now there's a question f3. You're going to take in d4 clearly, and try to go maybe queen b6 or something. I can see how they could have got this position.
Yeah.
Oh, is black a piece up, a pawn up? Sorry, I hadn't counted properly. Right, if that's pawn
No,
up.
black's not a pawn up.
But I think he is in the final position where we get to, isn't he? So
Okay.
f3 or something?
So f3.
Takes in d4. Queen b6, yeah.
Oh, so why didn't have to do this though, presumably?
Well, there's been a problem. He didn't have to play f3, no. He probably didn't like it that otherwise that black would play c4, but I mean, he didn't need to go knight e5. If you go back a couple of moves,
Yeah.
then I mean, at this stage, he doesn't need to go knight. I mean, f3's pawn takes d4. Now, can you take an e4, or is that bad?
I think, yeah, I think maybe that's it. Let's have a look. So if we take...
Probably rook is.
Oh.
No, that's very bad, apparently.
Bad, apparently.
Or just queen e5, I suppose, is going to be clear advantage, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe rook e5 is better, or maybe taking e3 is better. But yeah, this is pretty unpleasant. So, sorry, there's this bloody bar which is annoying, isn't
Sorry,
it?
I'm going to take it off. I'm going to first of all cheat and look at what they wanted. Knight f7. Right, right. I hadn't got that.
Knight f7, that's a very
I'm going to take this bar off to stop annoying us all. There we go. Go away. Bye bar.
Okay. So knight f7 was okay.
But knight f7 was the thing that Keith was meant to do here.
Yeah, and that's after takes, then presumably you get some sort of playable position.
So I guess you take here and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes, and there is queen to the 7th check or something.
Yeah.
And you get some position. Yeah, that does make sense. I didn't see it, but I'm still waking up. But I mean, yeah, because what he's done, he's just allowed queen b6, which is an accident, quite a big accident, because suddenly you're, well, pawn takes knight, you go queen takes pawn with check and queen takes knight with a clear advantage. Well, an extra pawn anyway. So he's tried knight g4.
He has. So knight g4.
Queen takes pawn with check.
So this is just a pawn. King h1.
Yeah, I don't know if you could have played knight f2 here and it not been too bad. Maybe if knight f2, there's rook a c8.
Oh, so knight f2 like this?
Yeah, but I think rook a c8 causes a major incident.
And there's an incident.
That's pretty unpleasant, I would think. It's not absolutely over, but...
Yeah, you need to keep the queen on the defending the knight. So
you have to go queen e2, yeah.
You'd have to go
it's
there.
The only move. And then...
You might take on f2. Oh, no, it takes...
You take an f2, you takes back with the queen, and you get some position where you're clearly better as black, but maybe not winning.
Right.
Although you can go knight takes, queen takes, queen takes, king takes, then rook c2 check, and then you've got a winning ending, yeah.
Yeah. So you swap all off here.
No, rook takes rook
first. Sorry.
Is the point.
Takes here.
Takes.
Yeah, and this.
You get to play rook to their check, and that's winning.
Yeah, because you can't really interpose a rook because you'd be going off to a king and pawn, ending a pawn down.
King and pawn,
otherwise,
pawn down.
Taking this.
Otherwise, we take a second pawn and we're winning, yeah.
Yep, very good.
So knight f2 was impossible. So he had to go king h1, and what's the guy done? Has he played knight d2, which is apparently the best move? Not obvious.
Knight d2, no, he played h5.
That was my first thought as well.
Yeah.
And that probably isn't as good.
Okay. And this is where we are.
And
thanks for the follow.
So there's a question, can you play rook c to d1 now?
Now?
Yes, I'd like to play rook c to d1 now.
Rook c to d1. Here we go.
If I want to play.
Ah, we've got a Harry supporter in the chat. Played with Harry in the school team for several years. Great to see the captain doing well in the event. Yeah, really great. Yeah, it's been very exciting. I mean, he had a fabulous game yesterday. Really nice.
Who was that against?
That was against Danny.
Against Danny, that's right. He splattered him, but actually Peter Wells splattered his opponent even more dramatically.
Did he?
So
Right.
Peter Wells did very, very bad things to his opponent. Yeah, he aimed all his queens and bishops at his opponent.
Sounds
checkmated him up a tree. Yes.
Painful. Yes.
So knight f. This I think might be okay. I'm not sure if there's a big trick or not. I don't see it at the moment, unless.
No. Tom is saying white has to play rook ed1, not rook cd1. There sounds like there's going to be some trick here.
Some back rank trick, is there?
Yes. Right.
Is knight
it's
d2?
The race, John. We have to find the back rank trick.
Well, probably knight d2 is one.
Knight d2.
Yeah. Which Tom was that? Was that
Tom Rendell?
That was Tom Rendell. Is Tom? Yeah, I assumed it sounded like Tom Rendell because it was.
He's in the chat.
Correct. Yes. I can't see where the chat is at the moment.
He set us a puzzle.
Yeah. Well, knight d2 is going to cause an incident, I think. That's probably the best. I don't know if there's something better than that. I didn't see.
The incident? The incident is you can't take on d2.
Yeah, I know that. Yes, the question is whether how strong this is.
Yeah.
You can play knight h6 check maybe, but you got the very good chances of just losing, I think. I wasn't sure if you could go something like knight h6 check, king g7.
Knight g3, yeah. This is Thomas saying knight g3.
Knight g3 works, does it? Is that so
Let's
good?
see. So you take.
Takes the knight. That's also good, yeah. Takes.
21.
Rook e1,
Take
and
the knight.
takes knight, and you've got a big advantage.
Yeah.
Actually, you've got a very big advantage because you're threatening to play king g7. Which would cause a very major incident.
That is a huge incident. Loz is saying Harry needs only half out of 3 for his final IM nom. And he needs
is he
2
not
out
an
of
IM,
3.
this guy?
2 out of 3 for a GM nom.
He's not an IM yet. God. So you have to play queen.
FM, but he will be an IM. He will.
Yeah, so you have to play queen c3 in this position. Obviously, you've got a completely crap position.
Yeah.
You have every chance of losing, really. So is that even better? So if we go back a couple of moves, so if you play the other rook to...
Let's try instead of rook cd1, let's try rook ed1.
And that is sort of playable, is it? Ish.
Yeah.
I think that probably is sort of playable. Which is annoying. I mean, because now... Well, Keith will find that. That's not very difficult. It just involves a tiny bit of brain power. Way beyond mine, obviously, but I mean... Now, maybe I'd quite like to try queen h8 in this position, actually.
Queen h8? You're going for knight g3 trick?
No, because I want to play pawn takes knight, and I want to have the move g3.
Right. Yeah.
And that, I think, is probably just... I mean, you can play knight e3, knight f6, and take in d5 if you want to. Or is there knight e3? There's probably knight g3 check might give black some advantage then. That looks slightly better for black to me.
Just take on here.
Yeah. So the other thing is pawn. The other thing is to go pawn takes knight after queen h8.
It's a very Alpha Zero move. That there was that famous game with the queen h1, wasn't there?
Well, it was just because now if pawn takes knight, if white plays pawn takes knight, pawn takes knight, pawn takes pawn, so he's got a huge passed pawn. We played g3, which I thought was going to be a very useful thing to be able to do. And that was probably going to leave black okay-ish. Makes a big difference, I think, you got the pawn on g3, because by the time white's won it, then black will have a lot of play. He could G3, H3, he'll play rook A, D8 now. Or is that going to leave D5 loose? Maybe Queen E5 first. And this should be all right, I would think. I mean, the white pawn is advancing, but everything else is good for black. I think this is okay, probably. But it's a battle. So I don't know, is Queen H8 the move that the great engine suggests? It probably is, I'm saying. I mean, I didn't look at an engine before this. So let's have a look. He's played rook ED1, so Queen H8.
Has, yeah. Queen H8, you want the engine back?
No, I've got my own engine.
Got your own engine. Fine.
Yeah. And Queen E5, it's not going actually. It doesn't like Queen E5 because of D6. So it wants to go rook ED8, D6, rook D7. I mean, I thought that would be okay, but here.
So it does like Queen H8, does it?
It does, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So D7 was a mistake, wasn't it? But it's saying Queen C7 is good. Well, maybe. Yeah, that's possible, actually. So what the engine is saying is that after pawn takes knight, pawn takes knight, pawn takes pawn, G3, H3, it wants to go rook AD8 because it doesn't care about Queen A4 at all. And then it wants to be able to go D6, rook D7. If Queen E5 first, it's saying D6, rook D8, Queen C7 is slightly dangerous.
Right.
But I think it may be changing its mind a bit in a moment. I don't really believe. Oh yeah, I can see a thing. I can see a very dirty thing that could happen. Quite an amusing thing as well, which was that if we went Queen E5 instead of rook D8, if D6, rook D8, Queen C7, then if King G7, which looks natural, we play D7, Queen takes Queen, pawn takes rook equals knight check.
Oh, knight check.
And
we emerge a rook down.
A whole rook, yes.
A whole rook down for black.
And here black can resign, in fact, and would resign.
Kevin's saying, would anyone really play Queen H8? Do you think Harry will play Queen H8? Well, actually, he already hasn't.
What did he play? Queen G7?
On Queen C4.
Okay, is that right? That's possibly quite a decent move.
So, okay, so he's a pawn up, but this potentially gives the pawn back.
Well, but you can go pawn takes knight now if you want to. Pawn takes knight.
Right.
You do get a pass D pawn, that's all. I thought Queen H8 might be a nice square just because I liked getting in G3. I thought that gave me counterplay.
Yeah.
Because of the weak back rank. After this, I guess he's going to just go...
Can't he just go Queen takes Queen?
Queen takes Queen, pawn takes Queen, pawn takes knight, rook takes pawn. Then black's a bit better.
Okay. I'll just put it on.
I would say.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah.
Pawn takes knight. Pawn takes knight. Rook takes.
No, we stick a rook somewhere, D8 or C8 or something, and bring a rook to the south. I think this is better.
Okay.
I mean, it feels appreciably better to me. I mean, maybe rook D8 actually, rook A D8.
Wouldn't you go like B5 to defend your A?
Well, I don't really care about that pawn. I care about getting active. Right. I thought I did anyway.
Rook D8, yes, I see.
No, you can go rook F1 maybe. Then we'll go rook D2 and he'll go... Can he go rook C7 or is he... No, he's not going to draw, has he? So... there is rook C7 now. And rook F8 is ridiculous, of course. Rook E4.
Yeah.
Then he plays rook C takes F7. We double rooks. And he probably gives 2 checks to get the king to H6. No, not that check. No, because the other check.
Yeah.
A second check to get the king to H6 and then plays rook G1. But this is still clearly better for...
Good for black, right?
Yeah. Clearly better for black. You just take them B2.
Yeah. You take this one.
Actually, this is probably winning for black. It's close anyway.
Yeah.
So rook C7 was probably a mistake. I mean, I think black's better anyway, whatever happens. Queen C4 is probably a more sensible move, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So white does not have to exchange queens.
You can go pawn takes knight here.
Yeah.
Pawn takes knight. Pawn takes pawn. Because there isn't a rook e1 check, because the wrong rook is protecting me. Because there's always that trick, or there's often that trick of playing rook e1 check and queen takes queen. Obviously, it doesn't apply here.
No.
So now we're going to go probably queen takes. I think queen takes queen, probably. Rook takes queen. Now maybe just rook a d8, because that, and then we get into play rook d6, aren't we? And we're certainly okay as black. Probably king g1. I mean, you need to do something about the back
You
rank.
do something, yeah.
And now either rook d7 or rook d6. Maybe d7, because that stops rook c7, which is nice. No, I'm not.
Is black actually better here?
Black is certainly at least equal in this position, I would say. Yeah, I mean the d pawn is fairly easy to deal with, and white's king is slightly worse than black's maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I suppose you play something like king f2 or rook. You're going to put a rook in b5 and a rook in d2, and I suppose you may be able to win. You may be able to go rook c4 as well, but I didn't want the rook going to the 7th rank very much.
Mm.
The other thing I could have done is maybe rook e5 and tried to push, but I don't want to mess around with that pawn very much. So I think maybe rook 1 d2 now, perhaps. Rook 1 to d2, just to defend the 2nd rank and then to prepare to play some active move.
Yeah.
And now maybe rook e5. I don't know. It's possible that we can go rook e5. Probably rook c5. If d6, we go rook e6. And we get to that position. I don't know if we play b6 or not, but I mean here, maybe we try to bring the king over towards d6. I mean, it's not a very clear position to me.
Yeah.
It's clear that white can win a pawn on the queen side, and black can't stop him, but he's going to lose his d pawn while he does. So you might play king g7 here, and if rook d4 f5 or something. I'll play f5 because now your king's off the back rank. You don't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this will probably be a draw.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure actually. Rook d4, I'm not sure, but I mean maybe king f2 and king g3. But basically, black should be able to get his king to a decent enough square for it to be all right. If his king's in about g5, then it's safe-ish. It doesn't matter, weakening the 2nd rank doesn't matter once your king's up the board.
Yeah.
So I don't know even if rook d2 is right, but it feels like a position within bounds to me. If you ask its Sublime Majesty, it'll say something between plus and minus 0.5, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's going on. Let's have a look and see what's happening in the other games.
Let's have a look. Okay, so
I haven't looked yet at all. Nick Pert is playing Ezra Kirk.
yes.
He is somewhat better in what could have been. What could it have been? It could have been another exchangey variation type thing, or it could have been maybe Cambridge Springs. Let's have a look.
Shall we see?
Is it a Cambridge Springs?
Knight f6, knight f3, e6, c4, d5.
Very, very similar to what we had here.
Very similar.
With a little bit more.
Nick doesn't exchange straight away.
No, I mean Nick has got a lot more oomph in the position than Keith did, because Keith is very happy to do very gentle things. This should be okay for black. I think it's saying plus 0.8. Right? The engine on Lee Chess, which I'm using, is saying. John Ems has been doing well as white, hasn't he? Has a lot of guys aimed at the king.
Are you going on to the next board?
I was going on to the next board, which is John Ems, yeah.
That's just, yeah, so our final position here, or our current position, we think is just kind of equalish.
Maybe slightly better
for white. Okay.
Yeah, I think slightly better for white, but I mean, it doesn't look to me like it's you bring the black king towards the center, and yeah, it's probably a tiny bit better, but it doesn't. He's got good chances to play and win, Nick. I mean, if he can double rooks and play knight b4 or something, he might win a pawn, but
Right.
But black is probably going to play c5 fairly quickly, I would think.
Yep.
Try to smash it up. And the fact he's played h6 is important, because otherwise there might be some back rank nonsense.
If black goes c5, white might be able to go like d5 and f3 and e4.
Yeah, well, I think you put your knight on d6 then,
Right.
and pawn on f6 and try to hold it. But maybe it's not very good. I think white is a bit better. I mean, I would prefer to be white here.
Yeah.
I'd be quite enjoying this, I think. I think this is quite a nice position to play. And I think Nick will be happy. John Ems has got a lot of guys, I said, aimed at the king side.
Right. 2 bishops aiming across.
And, nothing as awful is happening yet. But also there's the knight and f1, which might start walking gently towards...
h5, f5?
Yeah, f5 or h5, sort of start to wonder if you can play bishop h6 at some glorious moment. But I mean, okay, e5 is slightly weak as well.
Yeah.
And d5 you can take, but it's going to give black tempi to get his pieces out. So I don't know. I mean, the engine will have its views, but I don't really want to ask it. The next board looks better for white to me.
This is David Eggleston against Brandon Clark.
That looks to me like white is getting quite a good, some sort of exchange royal. Oh, it actually isn't an exchange royal Lopez. It's similar to that, though.
The recommendation based on the game is my white repertoire versus the Sicilian, part 1, the Rossolimo.
Right.
So I'm guessing a Sicilian, yes. There we go.
It is a Sicilian, but only just. I mean, you can play... He'll probably play f6 and g5 or something and try to make some trouble. It's not... If you go f6, bishop c3, g5, then the game certainly continues. If you took the bishop, then unless you can play bishop h3, which you can't, then I think white is starting to be clearly better.
Right. So
again, I mean, f6 doesn't look that clear to me, because black just starts advancing on the king side and says, well, it's going to be a mess. And his king is reasonably safe, allegedly. Just a fight. Next board, Danny Gormley has got a lot of boys aimed at his opponent's king.
Oh yes, that does look like he's going to attack, doesn't it?
I think it's pretty clear Grandmaster Gormley is going to try to checkmate his opponent, yes.
Yes.
So would I mean, it has to be said.
Yes. Now, is he going to succeed? He is... he's still got a... I don't see a checkmate yet.
No, it's not very clear, actually, because black has a positional advantage on the queen side, has very good active pieces, and there's no immediate way to break through.
What do you think about putting the bishop on h6 and then putting the rook on c1 to try and line up against black's?
That's reasonable, yes. I think that's reasonable. I thought maybe that, maybe... I mean, I'm worried that knight takes knight is going to happen, but I'm also thinking whether I can play bishop g5 just to get rid of enough pieces.
Right, swap off that dark red bishop.
I mean, he'll have, because he's gone bishop f4. Actually.
I tried to move it to g5, and then Danny moved it to f4 instead.
That's reasonable as well. That may or may not threaten knight f5. It could well do. I don't know what he's going to do about knight takes knight. I suppose pawn takes and claim that's okay, that he's got enough defense of the bishop for the 1/2 move that's necessary.
Yeah, because that rook covers attack on the black bishop there, doesn't it? So he's got to... It
gives him maybe a tempo. You can try to attack the knight on d4, but at bishop c5, there'll probably be knight f5 then. So...
Knight e6, right?
Well,
no, rook takes, sorry. So you go...
you can also go knight takes, pawn takes, queen b6, maybe.
Say again?
You can maybe go knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, queen b6. Then there's queen h3, or there's... I don't think knight f5 is going to work at that point yet. Might do, I suppose, on a very bad day for black, but no, I don't believe that.
He's already gone queen b6.
Immediately, okay.
Yes.
Right. It's reasonable. I think I might go rook a to d1 now, because I think I want to...
Okay, d1.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if black could then go knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, bishop c5.
Right.
Maybe. I mean, it's quite tense. Queen b6 makes sense because it gets off that diagonal.
Yeah.
We're within a tempo either way of either white's going to manage to do something or he's not. Yes, the fact the knight's not stable on d4, which makes this position interesting for black, because you're...
Right. Luca is suggesting a line which has rook takes a6, bishop takes d4, queen d3.
Right, maybe. But at the moment you can't take an a6 because you haven't...
No,
Really...
it would be at the previous line, I guess.
Yeah, this is probably better, yeah, because you don't need to take it.
Yeah.
And it just feels... I mean, Danny has this preponderance of pieces on the king side, but he is loose in the centre. If rook a d1, knight takes, pawn takes, he's not hitting the bishop. And you've got bishop c5, if bishop h6, you can probably just go g6 and be all right for long enough. That because the knight in d7, remember, defends f6. Now I think knight takes knight is critical now.
Yeah. Oh, he has played rook d1.
He has,
so knight takes knight takes.
Yeah. Probably pawn takes, I don't know. And then I wanted to go bishop c5, and I wasn't sure what was going on.
You have to go pawn takes, don't you? Because
you can maybe play bishop takes. It's legal.
Okay, so knight takes, bishop takes.
Yeah, it's pretty foul. I don't like the move, but
yeah, because you want the bishop to be lining up on h7, don't you?
Well, I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does give you the extra option of bishop a4 at some annoying moment.
Right. Yeah.
The thing is, even with white won a pawn or something, he probably would not have a great position. If you went knight takes, bishop takes, knight c5, bishop c2, if you played knight e4 and just gave him a pawn, you'd probably be perfectly okay, I would think. Unless you got mated up a tree before. maybe
like here, and knight in takes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at my own. Yeah, I thought that wasn't ridiculous. Perhaps, yeah, takes bishop b7. There's bishop h6 then, because if bishop f8, then you've got takes rook g4, which causes maybe a major incident, maybe not actually. Maybe even that isn't true.
So instead of rook takes e4, we go bishop h6.
Maybe bishop f8, you can go rook e4 now, and unless now, maybe this is not going to be any good for black at all. You're just gonna. You've got your pieces well enough defended. So knight e4 is probably stupid. It's just I'm trying to force matters, but I don't think I need to. What has happened? Has he played any moves yet?
No, he hasn't. So I think we're expecting really knight takes and pawn takes, aren't we?
Most likely, I think, yeah. I mean, maybe knight f8 as well, just to go to g6, because that's also a nice square. I don't know if you can go bishop g5 if you do that, but I mean, basically black has enough defenders on the king side, with both the knight and the bishop able to go to f8.
Yeah.
I mean, white may try to do something tricky. I don't quite see what sort of knight takes and some bishop a4 trick to be a nuisance. If he has one more move, I guess he'll go bishop b1. That would be the normal thing to do.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there is the move knight a4 now, but I don't think you'd have to be very confident to do that.
When you say now, you mean just in the starting position?
Yeah, in the starting position, it does hit
a4.
b2. It's not completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm imagining something bad will probably happen while he nicks a pawn.
Yeah. Danny would definitely
look at sacrifices.
feel provoked, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, but he would be provoked because rook b1 is not a particularly nice square.
Mm.
Because the thing is, if you get to b2, you've got to go into c4 and things. So there's quite a lot of point in attacking that pawn. I suppose there is. Well, bishop c1 is a bit of a pathetic move. I don't know. I mean, it just looks very stressed at the moment. Could he go either way in 3 or 4 moves?
Yeah.
Danny's the better player, so he'll probably manage to do something. Richard Pert against Peter Wells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Same number of pawns, same number of knights, same number of bishops, same number of queen and rooks.
Yeah, knight going. Richard Pert. Did you see his game where he played 3g5?
I did. I liked that game.
Yeah, I put it in the Observer. I mean, I said, I don't want to be nasty to his opponent, which I didn't. But I did think it was a wonderful...
This is the one with the bishop stuck on f1 for
Yes.
Yes.
I just thought that was wonderful because I've never seen somebody put... Well, actually, I've got somebody who I teach who plays the Latvian Gambit. And I think you're putting pressure maybe when you're on move 2 when you play the Latvian Gambit. But here he managed to put pressure on the guy from move 3 onwards. I just thought this is wonderful.
Yes.
I'd be so pissed off as white if I was a weaker player and I didn't know what to do, and the guy suddenly hit me with g5. I mean, it's quite a respectable-ish move. In fact, it's been played by David Navarra, it's been played by Morozevich, and it's been played by Jeffrey Cheong as well. Probably mostly in blitz games.
Yeah.
It inspired me to write a chess-based column on the ubiquitous bayonet. That's what I called it.
So if anyone hasn't checked it out, I think was it round 2, John?
I think it was round 3.
Round 3. Was it Alekos? It was Alekos Athalontis v. Richard Pert, wasn't it?
Alexandros, isn't he? I think, is he? He's Alexandros.
He's Alexandros, but I call him Alekos. I've played alongside him for the Barnet team like 20 years ago.
Right. Well, he was playing Richard Pert, and poor man, he never had a chance in hell. It's really unpleasant when you're playing white, and the first time you look at the position, you're worse. The second time, you're lost. we could show that game if you like. It's or you could. As I said,
let's see the start of this game.
What?
Let's see the start of this game.
Yeah, this is going to be
Pert against Wells.
Yeah, you can play 2g4 in that position as well. People do.
Oh, yeah, g4.
It's been played.
Is it good?
It has. I played somebody. I got smashed by an Irish guy, Killian Delaney, who occasionally plays that, but only in blitz games. He played a lot more sensibly than that against me. He plays this in blitz games.
Right. Interesting. Maybe one for the final round.
Well, yes. I mean, Richard does seem to be playing. I mean, yesterday he played g5 and h5 and f5 and lost, didn't he? Was it 2
I think it's the effect of having kids. You start playing all this crazy stuff.
Well, it's not so. When you ask an engine, the thing is, it's quite reassuring when you ask an engine because it doesn't say you're lost.
Yeah.
Which is kind of it. Okay, so knight f3, as you might do, as I would do, as an old man would play.
Yes.
c4, probably.
c4, e6, e3, a6.
That's a very old man's move, e3, isn't it? Knight bd2?
b3.
I mean, it looks as though the two twins have joined together and doubled their age. That's a bit of a funny move, d3. Okay, I see. Castles or not?
Queen a5 check. Knight d2. Takes.
Peter's trying a little bit hard, isn't he? Queen c1? Is that possible?
b3.
Oh, that's pretty better. Yeah, it's better.
Takes.
Trying a little bit too hard, I think.
And why did you say that? What's making you say trying too hard?
Well, I think he's doing all these things which he's trying to simplify. He's trying to make the position equal immediately. It's a question of whether he has or not. Because the position they ended up in, he has a problem on b6, doesn't he? I think he's just playing all these moves. He's
trying to get to the result before it's ready.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all very splendid, but now you got to be careful because if White can get a knight c4 and bishop b4 or something, it might end up very bad for Black quite quickly. What
Right.
did you play?
This is it. That's the end.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. Right. We need to go to Yan Yao.
Yeah.
Lan Yao. Loz is throwing me off track. Lan Yao against Balaji we need to look at because it's a classic.
Is it indeed? Right. Let's have a look.
Here we go. No, that's the wrong round. Right. Let's see. Lan Yao against Balaji. Here we go. Righty.
She's pretty good tactically, isn't she? She's really quite dangerous.
She is. She's a dangerous player.
Now,
and it's an Alakine, so that's even better. We want to see it.
Do you like the Alakines? Is that your sort of
that John? I've played it. I used to play it for many, many years. I sometimes play it now.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yes, it's all true.
I don't think I've ever played White against you, have I?
I don't remember playing you, actually.
I don't know. Have we ever even played Blitz? We must have done at some point.
I don't know if I've even played you ever.
But I mean, if I wouldn't know you played the Alakines necessarily, even if I had played you, because I played boring d4 openings mainly.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
If I saw you play the Alakines, I wouldn't think whoopee, she plays an awful opening. I'd think whoopee, she plays an awful opening, but she probably knows it.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't bother.
Yeah. Okay, so he plays c takes. I mean, I play e takes normally in this position, but c takes. Then the line that put me off this c takes is the line that Lan Yao is about to play: knight c3, bishop b3, and very quick rook c1.
Right. Okay. So that's
here, which I believe is called the Veronage, and it's an aggressive.
Is that trying to play c5 or something clever?
So again,
is that trying to play c5 or something, or is it? It's just holding?
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't have to do anything fancy. I think they just then get their pieces out and maybe do d5 sometimes. But
yeah, your knight isn't great in b6, is it? It really isn't.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what happened? Castles now?
Castles b3.
Yeah.
Murphy says. Murphy HW says Fischer played this against one knight f6. Yeah.
Yeah.
c5, knight c6. This is the piece sack line, I think.
How does this work? Oh, do you have take c5 or something?
Yes. So take e5. Oh, hang on. We saw this. I was commentating on another game which had this in it recently. I'd like to say from the Counties Championship, something fairly recent anyway.
It's very strange. Is this really playable? So if knight f3, what happens? You play bishop g4, do you, and something bad happens?
We're going to fork on. Yeah, and then have a fork on d4.
d4, yeah. And you have e4 as well. Okay, so what happens now?
So takes. All right, I don't know the moves here, but
rook e8 check, presumably.
Yes. Arakamia Fitzsimons in Lawrence's event. Yeah, okay.
Is this actually playable for Black? It looks like a load of...
Yeah, well, apparently you need to look up. Fitzsimons has done videos on it, and they're online, and you just need to look it up. And
right. Is there some queen g5 hit or something? If bishop b2, you play queen g5, hitting...
So...
Yeah, I can believe that if bishop b2, you play queen g5, and if king f1, you play knight takes bishop and laugh heartily. that I can believe. And I mean, the laughing would be de rigueur, I think. So what did you
So he's got knight e2. Oh gosh, queen h4.
It's a bit scary.
Threatening the bishop on d4.
Indeed, we can see that. There is rook takes knight, but it's going to be pretty bad, probably.
Yes.
So what did?
So Lan Yao brought the bishop back.
No, perhaps you're threatening to play rook takes knight and queen d4. So what happened next?
So she had a think for that move. So I guess a takes b6. I guess they're out of theory.
Yeah.
a4.
Which you need to play, yeah.
Bishop f5. Now,
right.
So I guess white has trouble developing. You're going to go knight b4 to d3.
I mean, there is rook takes knight and queen d4. I don't know how we feel about that. You're getting c5 and d4 very quickly.
So rook takes knight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's maybe the fact you cleaned up black's pawns is probably really. I have forced the queens off, which I'm very proud of, obviously. So take it, and play c5. Bishop probably b2, d4.
Yeah, trying to come here.
No, you're going to play king d2 now, obviously.
King d2.
Now maybe there's some with like d5 or something, or b5 might even be a good move here on a bad day for white. Yeah, it is actually. If pawn takes pawn, rook a2, king c1, d3, as far as I can see, wins.
Wow.
Causes a major incident.
Yes. So if the knight moves, we've got rook check.
Oh, we've even got that. I was looking at d2 check. That was enough for me.
D2 check. Oh, yeah, and just pick up the bishop.
Yes. So you certainly can't do that. So how interesting. So this, what a vicious punk. I mean, let's have a look. Let's go back then. This is really interesting. I'm tempted to stick to position our Stockfish 15 itself.
Yes.
Seems to be God really. Wait a minute.
Thanks for the follow, 64 Hobbiton.
Poor girl. I mean, that's not the sort of thing you want to happen to you in the opening.
Yeah. It's a bit tough, isn't it?
Wait a minute. Where is she? She is. What board is she on?
This is. Let me just. Board 12.
Board 12. Oh, sorry, I'm missing her. Right. Okay. Let me now export this to. Okay, I'm going to export this to my share and export. Share.
Okay. Yes, it was the wood green all play all that we saw it before.
Right. Good heavens.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just putting it in d:/temp as you do.
Okay.
On my machine.
Yeah.
I'm going into my chess space as you do.
Yeah.
And I'm opening it. Wait a minute. It will be in d:/temp itself because I have one of these fast C drives or whatever. I don't know. It's supposed to make the machine less slow.
Okay.
Right. And here we are. And I want to ask. I'm asking its Sublime Majesty after knight c6 what it thinks.
After knight c6. Oh, this is like early on.
Move 10. I'm going to add a kibitzer, its Sublime Majesty, and see what it actually says about this. I think it's going to harumph probably. It's going to harumph. It's going to play, say, c takes b6, e5. It's gone down to knight g2, it says, is the best move. Knight b5 is playable.
Sorry, John, go a bit slower for me. So knight c6.
Yeah, but pawn takes knight e5. Now it's saying knight g2 is the move it wants to play. And that's sort of not too terrible, apparently. Yeah. And that actually is giving white the advantage, apparently. It's going knight g2, e d4, knight d4, bishop d4, bishop d4, queen h4, bishop c5, rook e8 check, bishop b2, a takes b6, g3, queen h3, bishop takes b6. God almighty.
I got up to bishop e2. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh no, now it's going bishop b3, d4, bishop g5 and claims that's plus equals. Okay. Now what has actually happened? Bishop b2 it doesn't like very much. It's saying rook c6 was necessary.
Okay, so this is after queen h4.
Yeah, it wants to go rook c6, b c6.
It just wants to get rid of this knight.
And it actually wants, I thought it might want to go b7 for the tempo, but it's taking on a7 and claims it's plus equals. Actually, it's claiming that's winning, in fact.
So, sorry, rook takes c6, b takes c6.
Yeah. Rook takes c6, b takes c6, b takes a7. It's giving us plus minus, this engine.
Okay.
I mean, this engine is very, very definitive. It makes much more noise than other ones, but that does make sense.
Okay.
Because actually the pawn, as long as you can control c5, then black isn't doing anything terrible here. I know it's got queen e7, queen c1, bishop a6, and it's going, yeah, okay. You're going to have to play rook takes a7 and play that position. So it's now going b takes a7, queen e7, queen c1, bishop a6. It wants to go queen c2, which makes sense, I think. And then it wants to go rook takes a7.
Oh, okay.
Bishop takes.
Giving up the exchange.
Yeah, so now it's quite a lot of material at this point. Queen d2, and it's saying plus minus, but you know, it always does. It always gives a very, very definite assessment. Even this, you'd have to play well.
Yeah.
You know, for it to be, things could easily still go wrong.
Oh, Keith has agreed to draw with Harry.
Has he?
A draw on top board. So that is gonna open it up even more, because those were half a point clear. If they've drawn,
If they draw, we're going to have a great pile up.
we're going to have a pile of people going into round 8,
Indeed.
all in the lead. It's very.
And this is effectively round 8 of the British, isn't it? You know, because it's
a 9-round event this year. So we've got,
yeah, I know, but it's round 8. It's round 8 of the 11 rounds. Now, how's she done? She's got. She seems to be okay now. Actually, doesn't
so
she?
let's see. So Lanyao went bishop b2, a takes b6, a4, bishop f5, which is where we got up to.
H3 was played.
Lanyao didn't take the knight. She played h3 here.
Yeah, and I'm imagining that's probably d4 is the move now. I guess probably it's still. I'm guessing it's still quite good for black if black plays 3 good moves or something.
Right.
But she didn't. He didn't succeed.
So he played rook ad8.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if knight b4 would be interesting. Perhaps queen d4. No, I mean, knight b4 has to be the
Knight
most
b4 looks fun, doesn't it, to try and come in here?
Yeah. I mean, if g3, I mean, yeah, that must be the right move, surely. I'm guessing. So what actually happened was bishop f5 h3. Wait a minute, I've got this.
g3.
Yeah. I mean, after h3, I'm guessing that there's something very bad that could happen at this particular moment.
Right.
You know, it just looks as though.
Okay, so it might be knight b4.
Its Majesty actually isn't giving knight b4. Interestingly, Its Majesty is giving rook ad8, which it still likes.
Okay, which is what was played.
Which is what was played. G3, and now queen e7. Queen e4. Queen e7, it says, is winning.
Okay.
I don't quite know why. I'm not sure what happens to bishop g2. Probably d4 or something. Queen e7, rook takes c6, d4. My God, rook c4, d3. Now, bishop c8 has happened and knight f4 has happened, hasn't it?
So we've got queen e4, which looks sensible enough to me because it does attack the rook.
Yeah, I mean, even this position, it thinks black has enough for a piece here.
Okay.
Just because white's so discoordinated.
Yeah.
It's now going bishop check g5, actually.
Sorry, John.
It wants to go bishop a6 check, king g1, g5, knight d3, queen e2 or something, and try to win a piece back, I think. Which is it's not very human. So in the position we got after knight f4, if that's the position we got now.
So I'm on the position after 20 rook h2.
Yeah, if you carry on to the end of the game, where they've got to.
d4.
Yeah.
Bishop g2.
Queen
e7.
Takes.
Takes. King f1 to try and unwind a bit. Bishop c8.
Which threatens bishop a6.
And knight f4.
Yeah. Now my engine is saying bishop a6 check. King g1.
Yeah.
g5 now.
g5. Okay, so this knight has to find somewhere to go. So what about knight d3?
Then queen e2 wins a piece back. point.
Queen e2 went a piece back.
And the game continues. I mean, because you take it and play bishop takes d4. And actually, you can't maybe. But that does win a piece back allegedly, or does bad things or something.
Right, because if you go knight h5, you've got like bishop e2. Also,
You've got bishop e2 then, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can go knight g2, but then white's pieces are pretty stupid, aren't they?
Knight g2, another fianchettoed knight. We had some fianchettoed knights yesterday.
Indeed. I don't know if you can go bishop e2 now, queen d2, bishop f3 maybe, and if that's a good idea. Maybe there's knight e1 then. I don't know. I'm just imagining.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's all right, just about. Yeah, no. Okay, we'll just play c5 at some moment. Just defend. Not now, but I mean, obviously before you commit all your pieces.
Yeah.
With the knight in g2, just maybe play. Yeah.
So here we go. So maybe c5.
Just c5, just to kill his bishop. Carry on playing. And the game continues. H4 I thought was reasonable.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't quite believe this for black actually. But I mean, I can. Maybe
She's got like a piece for a pawn.
She's got a piece for a pawn, which is why I wasn't particularly convinced. But I mean, you can maybe just go queen e2 now and just carry on playing chess because you just exchange things and then start pushing the d pawn or something while white's getting organised.
Because 3 of white's pieces are really bad at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, white has managed to put many pieces in all full squares, and it's not very. I guess you do go queen e2 here probably. I mean, I would be frightened I'd lose in the end being a piece down. It's possible I'm just being neurotic or I'm being fuddy-duddy about material.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why g3, g5, knight g2 isn't being considered because it doesn't seem to be. Why?
Oh, the computer's not thinking about g5.
It is thinking about g5, but it's not thinking about knight g2, and I don't know why. It's not obvious.
Oh, okay.
Maybe queen e2 then is really good. I don't know. Queen e2, you'd have to take and go bishop a1. Maybe you can just go d3 now and just start pushing.
Right. Then at least the knight can come out.
Yeah. Then I can maybe play f5 as well. I don't know. Carry on hacking.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Gosh. Interesting game.
Very interesting game indeed. I mean, maybe I could have actually there. I could maybe have played d2 as well. Rook d1, check, king g2, and then something strong, bishop e2 or something. And maybe I just win a piece back, and it's just no good for white.
Yeah.
It's certainly an interesting way to play. I've never seen this glorious sacrifice. Does white have to take it? Is he forced? Just ask my sublime majesty. And when we go...
e5 has been played. So, yeah.
I mean... Yeah, I mean, it's giving knight g2 as well, actually. But and c takes b6, it wants to play when you can. It doesn't want to play h3, does it? Is that too passive? That's probably too passive. Yeah, I mean, black is very active, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes, there's some horrific things happening, actually.
Oh, really?
The way I'm playing, it doesn't matter. I was trying not to take the piece on general principles. I think that's a great idea anyway. I could see that I would want to play that. Now, what I haven't seen, actually, I'm just going to check after g5.
Yeah, g5 here. This has been played now. So Lanyard's thinking about whether to put the knight on g2, presumably.
Yeah. It's not even given knight g2 at all. Because queen e2 it just thinks is better for black. Which, I mean, I'm sure it's right, actually. Queen e2, bishop a1, d3. Yeah, you
Thanks
just...
for the follow.
Okay. Bad luck, yeah. So yeah, you got
So it's better for black, we think.
apparently, yes. I mean, it's rather unobvious to me, but apparently that D pawn is so strong that the position is really bad. Yeah. If you go take, take. Yeah, the lines we were looking at actually
Yeah.
are just apparently good for black because the
Mm.
two rooks and the bishop and the D pawn win a piece at least.
Yeah. All right. Should we check some other games?
Yes, please. Yes, that would be
Let's do
interesting.
it.
Well, that's fascinating, this game.
Yes, it's a very
But
interesting.
that's something that must have been. Do you think that was a mouse slip that somebody played knight c6 and then found it was a move, or do you think it was?
No. The thing about the Alekines, right, is people. If you play the Alekines for a while, you start to really, really like it, and I reckon there'll be people that spend days just trying to get things to work, and it won't be
Right,
any chance. It'll be someone, uh, an Alekine aficionado.
aficionado, indeed. Yeah.
Yes, discovering it.
A dangerous breed of person.
Indeed. Right, Nigel Davis against Gary Lane we have here, and Nigel is white.
So is Gary Lane? Is he playing hors de concours or is he not? Because I know he's now Australian in terms of his FIDE. I mean, okay, he's not going to win the tournament anyway, but
Yeah, so I think he wouldn't be able to win like the
British Championship.
British Championships because he plays
Because
for Australia.
obviously he was English originally.
He
I
was,
played
yeah,
I played him one year.
and from this part of England as well, wasn't he? So
Yeah,
uh,
no, I think he's from this part of England, which is probably why he's playing.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
guess.
for sure.
I'd like to play knight takes e3 in this position if I could, but I probably can't.
Knight takes e3. Well, we can try it from where we are, can't we? Knight takes e3, takes, and just rook takes.
Yeah, that was the plan, but maybe bishop c1 is going to refute it, or maybe just, and then I can get the queen out of the way. It probably is a load of rubbish, but I just like the idea because if it worked, it would be glorious.
Because are you going to reroute your rook to
I don't know
e6?
what I don't know what I'm going to do, Natasha, but I'm going to try to be violently dangerous in some way or another. I mean, maybe h4. I don't know, h4. I think probably queen f2 then. If queen takes, knight takes, bishop takes f4, I sort of feel I'm probably okay as black. Don't see why not really. But there's probably something much, much better. You know, I'm just, but I think h4, queen f2, and probably it doesn't quite work. I'm just starting to think about it. I mean, okay, I probably don't need to do anything like that because the pieces are rather good. It's a question of getting them to play. Look, go back. I mean, let's not sacrifice a piece. I mean, it's sacrifice.
So this is where we are. Yeah.
The other, I mean, the thematic move is to play d4, isn't it?
Yes. Now we're getting all sorts of Gary Lane questions in the chat. So, do we know he's a movie star? I do know he's a movie star. He's told me many times, and so he's sent trailers. He's in but not just he. His son also Ryan. They're both they do these sort of they're extras in movies. So Kevin tells me it's Interceptor. Gary Lane is in, and I think Ryan's. I can't remember the name of what Ryan's in, but they both. Take part in movies, so look out for the Lane family.
Oh yes, I was watching in a very desultory way Midsummer Murder recently, and no, it was a Miss Marple, and there was Mickey's wife, of course.
Oh, really? Okay, so Tara was in an Agatha Christie.
She used when she was young to play Hysterical Young Woman was one of the so completely unlike her actually, but Hysterical Young Woman was one of her sort of set roles.
Well, I've seen her as Lady Macbeth, but I hear she's also in a Rosamunde Pilcher filming done in Cornwall. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those, John, but these sort of Cornwall romance stories. So it's an English writer, but she writes mainly for German people who like romantic novels, and they do these wonderful films with beautiful Cornish scenery. and
Right.
Tara's been in one of those. So I really want to see that because I think.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yes, she was.
And I know she's been the lead in a couple of horror films where she's been the monster, which is much.
I think she's been in horror films too. Yes, yes.
I think it's a lot of fun being the person doing the menacing.
She's a very versatile actress.
Yeah,
Tara,
the creature doing the menacing is probably a lot more fun playing than.
Yeah. It's got to be fun being the baddie, surely.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you just have to scream well, which is probably once you've mastered that art, then.
Yes.
I mean, obviously the art of screaming well is important.
Hmm.
It's an essential component of any horror film. Anyway,
Yes.
no, I didn't know Gary Lane had been in movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other question was, if he had dual citizenship, could he get the title? Well, the question came from Blue Guy Hayes, who I think maybe would know the answer to that better than I would. So I'm not going to attempt to answer it, but certainly yes. I don't know if Gary has dual English and Australian citizenship, but I guess he probably does. Given
you can have, isn't it?
Yeah, you can for sure. You can.
You can. I mean, no other country objects too strongly or at all.
Yeah.
As far as I know, because some pairs of countries whinge exceedingly if they're citizens.
Yes. Anyway, so this position, so sort of we're looking at ideas for black, aren't we? So I guess
yeah. I mean, there is a ridiculous move G5 as well. It's completely absurd. It probably
G5.
is.
Yeah. Why is that so? That's okay.
I don't know if it is okay. I mean, Queen H3 scares the hell out of me. I mean, your bishops are very, very pleased by that move, I would say. Your bishops look at that move and they think, "Gentlemen, are you sure that you wanted to weaken your king side in that manner?" Yeah. I think a very happy pair of prelates. So I wouldn't really want to, even if it's a good move, I wouldn't want to play it. Yeah, well, I mean, they're all aimed, aren't they? And if pawn takes knight, Queen H5, presumably something bad will happen.
Yeah, okay.
So I didn't. I mean, I was looking at knight E3 takes, rook takes, knight takes H5, bishop takes queen, knight F6 check. I think this queen F6 is good for black apart from anything else.
I missed the start of that, John. This is taking.
Well, no. If we instead of G5,
yeah.
If we go back 2 moves, back 2 half moves, I was looking at knight takes, pawn takes, rook takes, knight takes H5, bishop takes queen, knight F6 check, and wondering how that was. But I think this queen F6 is good for black if nothing else.
Right.
It just sort of, I was idly thinking, well, what is this man going to do? Because I think the most natural move is D4 and just hope it all works out well.
He's using a lot of time, is Gary.
Well, of course he is. It's a position you use a lot of time because, I mean,
it feels promising and there's a lot of choices and you've got to.
Well, it's the critical position is the point. I mean, it's not just promising; it is the position which is most critical. So I think D4 is the critical move.
Right.
And if pawn takes pawn, I want to try to play maybe knight E6 now. It's quite a nice move. Maybe knight takes, rook takes, queen H3, and then a strong move. What a strong move looks like, I have no idea yet, but I'm imagining there might be such a thing.
Yeah.
Take, rook takes, presumably queen H3. I mean, knight E5 isn't impossible, but probably pawn takes pawn then is going to win in material. So queen H3, and now we look for the move to cause mayhem. And there may not be one, actually. I mean, there may not be anything very much. Because, of course, black's position is also imploding a bit at this point.
Bishop takes knight.
Probably just, I don't know, maybe pawn takes even. And, yeah, I wasn't sure that anything was really going on here.
Yeah.
I didn't feel... But I would be looking and thinking, is there a move that causes mayhem?
Yeah.
Somewhere around about here.
Knight H2.
Yeah, okay.
Trying to come in with queen G5.
You are actually, aren't you? Yes.
I'm
probably going to play D5 or something. Actually, maybe this is going to cause mayhem. Okay, we'll just take with the queen on F3 then. If this is really unpleasant, if bishop e...
Okay. So bishop f3.
Sorry, I'm giving him 2 bishops. I'm giving him a bishop on taking an f3 and another bishop on b7 in my mind's eye, which is why I was perturbed as white. So bishop takes pawn takes knight takes h2. Maybe d5 now, I don't know, and something happens. You can get queen g5 and take the pawn, but then I'll have time to get my pieces sorted, probably.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean,
who knows? Okay. Now we hear John Ems is very short of time. Should we go back and check?
Yes,
John?
let's have a look. Let's have a look. He's not very often short of time, is he?
Well, I was saying that the other day, but then that means it must be twice at least.
Yeah, he's in a bad position as well, isn't
he? Yeah. Well, I suppose those things go together, don't they, sometimes?
I think he's in a bad position. I mean, it's not. There's rook e5, rook takes c1 check. It's not very nice. It probably does. They probably do, yes. I mean, if g5, I don't know if he wants to play bishop g5, but it's still not very pleasant.
It's those black bishops.
The bishops are very, very fine lumps, indeed. They are doing bad things, really, to white.
Yeah, because white could not take the bishop because of rook takes white.
Rook takes bishop check and queen takes f2 was at least okay.
Yeah.
Because black's king's safe enough with the bishop in f7. Well, he's a tempo of safety in the sense that white can't immediately open fire with deadly effect. And if white can't open fire with deadly effect, then putting the king in h3 is going to be a pretty bad thing to happen.
Actually, Matthew has a John Ems pawn structure to defend his king. That triangle of pawns, John Ems often gets that.
Does he?
Yeah.
He's taken, right.
But he's taken now.
Now,
okay.
now this is getting messy and messier. I don't know if knight f5 now, maybe bishop e3 and knight f5. I mean, you're trying to swindle the guy, obviously. There might conceivably be knight h5 as well.
Knight h5.
Yeah, conceivably, I don't know.
Now, why knight h5? Because you're going to fork on f5?
Because I'm going to play queen d5 check takes bishop if you...
That's what you're going to do.
He's got knight f5 anyway.
Right, okay. He's already done it.
And now we need a good move as black. I'm not sure if taking was the right move. So let's have a think about what's going on here. There's rook e4 when you end up with equal material and the 2 bishops, and white has got that horse on f5, but that might be round about, I don't know, equalish. If you had rook e4 takes pawn takes queen takes, probably queen e6 or something, or queen f6. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, I'm just trying to find a way to be sensible as black, really.
Mm.
You know, what I don't want to do is for it to swing totally out of control.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit concerned it might. I don't suppose I can... No, I can't do that. I mean, I would have preferred not to play this if I could, but I don't know. I don't know if it would have been better to go g5, because then there's a bit more around the king. I mean, there's probably a good move here, but it's slightly uncomfortable. Maybe bishop f6 now, simply, but then, you know, you're wondering, can he hit me somewhere?
Yeah, bishop f6 in a stalling position just here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's certainly possible. I mean, he's on queen f6. Okay, right. So now, is there a hit yet? Maybe there is no hit, in which case it's a good thing. He's just keeping his pieces in good squares and hoping nothing bad.
You're stopping also, I guess, knight e7 check.
You are, yes. Well, enough that if it's playable, it's not very playable. So yeah, that's a good move. Well, I'm wondering if f4 is a move now.
Ooh.
It's not a very pretty move, but it's, you know, because I think I'm getting to the point close to the point of no return where I need to start some ultra-violence very quickly. If bishop takes...
Are you talking about white being violent or black being violent?
I'm trying to make enough trouble as white before black consolidates.
Yeah.
If black consolidates, he's just gone bishop d2,
which isn't as violent as your move.
Which isn't as violent as my move, but may well be better, of course. Now, you could just play b6, for instance, and say, are you actually doing anything, comrade? It is a possible... But maybe there'll be bishop c3. I mean, I would want to somehow clean this position up as black and just get some better ending or something. But I don't know exactly how I'm doing it. And there will be knight e7 check if you get control, and then king will be messed around a little bit.
So all right. So what about then for white b3?
No, it's black's move now.
Assuming b6.
Well, b3, I think I'm going to go rook e4 probably, and give a pawn back, and then go. If I go, then maybe. But it's not. I'm not very comfortable. I mean, bishop. I'm just feeling that it's loose, which I don't like. I don't like being loose in this position, and I don't have many checks or anything. And white has lots of pieces and good squares, so...
Yeah, knight e3.
That's possible, yeah. I mean, rook e4, I think, is the most sensible move, in the sense that you're not going to be worse after that.
Yeah.
So if you went rook e4, rook takes, pawn takes, queen takes... Maybe I could just play b6 there, because actually... even if he goes sort of f4 and knight e7 check, I can just go king h8 because I control everything with the bishop. He's not got any. He might get perpetual check, but won't get more. So I think I'd perhaps play rook e4 just because.
Rook e4 straight away. So,
yeah, just because it's a sensible move. I mean, it's what the engine probably won't like it. I'm just asking it. Actually, it's going b6. It's saying big advantage. a4 it likes. a4 is a nice move, I suppose, fixing everybody. Rook e4 goes to, it doesn't dislike rook e4. It thinks it goes from minus 3.6 to minus 1.6. But I don't really care very much as black. I'm still a pawn up. And being a pawn up is enough to play the position, You don't have to... You don't have to have a lot in order to have the advantage,
Black's 2 pawns up, right?
Black's 2 pawns up. Yeah, actually, a4 is a very nice move. But
instead of rook e4?
Yeah, a4, just fixing everything.
Okay,
but
so
it's
a4,
not easy to play, because you're worried that you'll play f4 and play knight e7 check and do something. And, you understand that even though it's not true, it feels like it's true. And that's the only important thing in time trouble, really. That you're worried that something could go wrong. So actually, the instance of it's not a very sublime majesty; it's a mildly majestic version of Stockfish without very much time devoted to it. Is saying a4. It's Stockfish 11, in fact. So that's been drawn. How did they draw? Oh, they drew that rook ending. Okay, that's board 1. Board 2, I'd say Nick is a bit better, probably. The engine thinks so as well. My engine, this board is played.
Right, John, well, let's stay on the same page. So, board 4, are we on David Eggleston against Brandon Clark?
No. I was just going through the first couple of games, looking. Yeah. John M's b6, still happy move. David Eggleston, I'm not sure he should have swapped the black squared bishops. I didn't like him doing that. I thought after bishop b5 you should play f6. I thought that was quite important because when you exchange the dark squares, this position feels clearly better for white to me in David Eggleston because black hasn't really got counterplay now, and the black king is just starting to be that little bit loose, sufficiently loose. I'm nervous, I think b4.
I like the white's knight on e5.
So
Although it can be chased away, can't it? So
well, not immediately, because of f6, knight g6. So
yeah,
the rook at h7 is a very stupid piece indeed. You know, I
yes,
mean, if it was a sort of c7, it would be a lot happier. And the whole position feels pretty foul to me, actually. Like, you know, and I think this is stemmed from swapping the dark squared bishops, really, because then
right.
you don't really have any activity in the position. So I like David Wilson's position. Danny Gormley has actually got his bishop in a4 and played b3. So that's quite clever. So how did that go on?
So okay, we were at this position. We were looking at knight takes b3, and we were discussing whether you take back with the pawn or the bishop. And Danny did actually take back with the bishop. And I think
Yeah,
your comment was, "Oh, that's foul." But then you were sort of coming around to it. So bishop takes
yeah,
b3 was played. Bishop c5,
yeah.
and now bishop a4.
And so he's managed to fix his bishop in a4. So
Yeah, so
suddenly
it's
he's
like a
got,
trade of knights. It could be so bishop takes d4 and bishop takes on d7, but then that would be forking the rooks. So
but basically White has a really dangerous attack now because Black's not got his pieces, and there's knight c6 moves and bishop c6 moves, and there are all these pins and things. So Danny's done very well out of this. At some
yeah,
moment round
queen
about
a7,
here,
bishop
I think after
h6.
after bishop takes b3, I think you need to go knight c5 probably.
Ah, okay.
I think that's probably necessary.
So bishop takes b3. So instead of bishop c5,
Yeah, I
John
think
should
knight
have gone
c5.
knight c5.
Yeah, because now after bishop a4, you're starting to have a problem.
Yeah. Whereas with bishop c5, you got this bishop a4. Okay.
Yeah, and the bishop on a4 is really good, actually. It's really annoying. I mean, you've completely transformed the queen side. And now, you know, maybe there are lots of ways you can lose the exchange. And you can't go rook f8 because then bishop h6 wins.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing a good move at the moment. I mean, maybe the engine is, but I'm already very, very nervous.
Right. And he comes in with h4 now.
Does he?
Yep. He's
Has he
played
played it
h4.
already?
He's played it, yeah, just now.
Right, okay, that's he's enjoying himself now, isn't he?
He is. He's enjoying himself.
But I mean, I think you've probably taken d4 now and play bishop d5 and pretend you're okay. But
So
maybe you're not.
rook takes back on d4, do you think?
Well, rook takes bishop b5 is my idea.
Bishop b5.
Takes bishop. Oh, but sorry, but b4 hangs. I can't do that. No. Well, he's going to lose anyway. White's going to lose. White's going to lose this game
Yeah, okay, so you can take
because it's all gone completely wrong. He had rather a good position. He's completely letting the bishop settle on a4 has been catastrophic, really.
okay.
You know, because now White has control.
Yes.
You know, if the bishop was in sort of b1, then you'd be able to have some counterplay. Maybe we'll play knight f8. But here you're probably going to. I don't know how you're going to do this. Bishop f8 says the engine, but I mean it's not a happy move.
Mm.
You know, you're still not untangled. So Danny will win that, I think.
Okay.
Richard Pert.
Richard against Peter.
Peter is starting to get untangled, possibly, and maybe he got a good position now. He seems to have won a pawn as well, unless there's a hit at this moment. I mean, bishop h7, you do have the f8 square, which is definitely a good thing, because otherwise the game. Oh, but he's saying the rook bc1 basically. Oh, sorry, he's given up the exchange to do this. Sorry. I'm just being
Oh,
stupid.
Nigel Davis beat Gary Lane. That was quick since when we saw it. Gary was short of time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go back to that game for a second. So we got to bishop c4.
Well,
Sorry, knight f3, d4.
bishop c4.
Bishop c4.
Now he played took an
Takes.
e3, which is
Takes.
took again.
Takes. But this didn't give up a piece doing it. Oh, no, queen g6. Have you got? No.
So there are lots of very
No,
bad
no,
things
no,
that are
no.
happening at this point.
Knight takes h5.
Bishop c4 is a good move, actually. Yeah, maybe at the moment it's saying d takes e3, f takes e3. You should play knight takes e3 is a very bad idea. Says bishop f3, gf3, knight e3, and claims that this is okay. Because then knight h5, you're going to be able to take his queen. But yeah, okay. So apparently this is winning for black at this moment. But a moment or so later, it's lost. Where are you?
You should go rook e3, should he?
Bishop f3, gf3, knight e3 is really good for black.
Oh, bishop
You've got
f3.
every chance of screwing this up, really, haven't you? Yeah. Yeah, because if knight h5, you take the queen, and knight f6 check, you can just take. Yeah, just take it.
Queen takes, bishop takes.
And yeah, okay. Well, black's got more pieces than white.
Black has more pieces, so that's the answer. Yeah.
So it's just sort of gone. But I mean, but there was every chance that something would go wrong if you're in time trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a piece up here. You can play bishop. Yeah. So he played knight e3, knight h. What happened? Knight e3.
Rook takes d6.
Knight h5. Rook d6.
Queen takes knight h5.
5.
Swap queens.
Has that caused a major incident?
Oh,
yeah. The point
queen.
is that
Take
if you
queen,
play
but he didn't
recapture, then
recapture.
queen g3 is check.
Yeah. So knight f6 check.
King you see the difference?
Knight e8 check.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi.
Sorry, am I muted?
No, can you not hear me?
Can you hear me, Natasha? Because
I can hear you. You might not be able to hear me. Okay.
Hello?
Hello. Okay, I'm just going to say, I'll do the chat.
Let me leave and...
Okay, they can hear both. Okay. Fine. Okay, well, I'll keep on talking and John will rejoin in a second. I thought I might have frozen like I did the other day, but that's good. Okie doke. Let's show on stream. Hi, John.
I don't know what happened there. What happened?
Not sure, but I can hear you now.
And right, well, what I was saying was that the point of bishop f3 is that queen takes g3 would be check if the pawn were on f3.
Yeah. Okay, this would be check.
And therefore the great combination with knight d6 and knight h5 would not work anymore.
Yes, I see it. I do see it. Fine. But this white's managed to take a rook before recapturing the queen.
He has to rudely take.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's done the trick for Nigel Davis. Unlucky to Gary Lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
The routing of Australia. Yeah.
Should we check back in on Lanyao and see how that Alakines went?
Yeah, let's have a look.
So it was looking very tricky for white, actually, wasn't it, when we last looked at it? So let's see. We had knight g2, queen b4, queen g4. White's a piece up, but has 3 very bad pieces. Rook d5, knight e3. That's clever. Trying to get that knight out.
And queen d2's happened, and apparently this is good for black, which isn't obvious to me. I don't know what's happening after bishop a. After bishop a3, you can take the knight, of course. Or you can take the knight anyway, actually. So, say knight c4, bishop c4, and queen takes b2. So basically, it's good for black. Yeah.
Can't you take on d5?
If you take on d5, I think rook e1 check is probably the answer.
Right.
And I believe that will lead to checkmate.
Oh dear. Yes. So takes here. Takes here. King there. Oh, what, just bishop f1?
Bishop f1 was the move I was going to play, yes.
Yeah, well, and if you come out, then you've got at least that.
Queen to e2. Come on, if you can play mate in one, then do so.
Oh, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Let's do that then. Yeah. Queen e2 mate.
Checkmate, madam. Yes.
The rook ended up on h2 smooth baron. That was from a queen e4, kind of attacking the rook on h1.
Which stomped off to protect bishop g2, and to give the king the square g1 to run to in great panic. Yeah, I mean, it's been a magnificent, really quite a fine game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been.
Okay.
Just going to see what happened.
So knight c4 has been played.
Oh, so England have already lost the test match, apparently.
Have they?
They have. I just went to have a little look. Crumble to lose by an innings. It is with what the headline said in the BBC website. It's a cheery little.
Okay, let's look at two juniors playing.
Yes.
Willem Price against William Claridge Hansen. Both have been having good tournaments.
How old are these kids?
How old are they? I'm going to guess 20.
Right. So when you say juniors, they're not very little.
Depends how you define junior. Like all these games have different criteria for being a junior. I can look up exactly how old they are.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm just getting an idea that they're
not 12. Willem was born in 2000.
So they're uber swab
and William was born in 1999.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm just getting an idea of what sort of spruggitude we're talking about. Well, what board are we on? Sorry.
We are on board 11.
Board 11. Thank you, because I'm looking right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obviously a French or a Caro, probably a French, yeah? I'm guessing.
It was a Caro.
A Caro, actually, okay.
With h4 on move 4.
The man went Queen a5 check and the guy went Knight d2. Somebody played b4 against me after Queen a5 check on move 6, and I got splatted most horribly.
Really?
I did. I got positionally outplayed, which is a scandal.
Who did that to you, John?
This guy, Killian Delaney.
Oh, Killian Delaney, yes.
Yeah, he really splatted me. I mean, it was a very fine game, actually.
It's left a bit of a mark on you, I think.
Well, I mean, no, I don't mind. If I'm going to lose, I'd like to lose a good game rather than a bad game, and I don't mind losing, being splatted too much. I'm not very pleased by it, but I mean, it happens. And this is an interesting position, isn't it? Because I mean, if the black king was somewhere sensible, it would be rather wonderful for black. But,
where would you put your black king?
I think g8 probably.
Just on g8.
Yeah, I think I'd like it there. I don't think I want it running around near d7 and that sort of stuff. But also there's sort of queen c1 followed by rook b5 or something to break black. Well, no, f3 hangs at the moment. So I'm not sure if you can play. I mean, black has. Let me look on the other screen. Actually, I've got a bigger board and a screen. Oh, no, I still do. Here we are. It can go either way, can't it? Because I mean, you can play h4 maybe. H4 isn't stupid, but I suppose king f1, h3. Maybe king h2 actually is a. I don't know. So if h3, then I can just play g4 and claim that nothing's really going. I mean, that would be a bad idea, I'd have thought. Black's pieces are not very active now. And black, it's just a question of how to keep control of the situation. Because, your rooks aren't remotely connected, of course. You can maybe try to reroute the knight on d5 as well. I mean, rather than go h4, h3, try to do something. But obviously it's going to take a couple of moves. I mean, I don't like this for black at all. I think this is a bad idea because really the white king will be reasonably okay on g3, I suppose.
Trying to make a tactic work on g4, but
no, I don't think so.
That's not going to happen. Knight h6.
Yeah, maybe I can play king takes pawn then and laugh at you.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, maybe you can go f5 and suddenly break it all up and white's position suddenly You know, it's very hard to tell. I mean, I'd like to play position if I could as black. You sort of put the knight in d5 and the queen in c6, and I mean, so I wouldn't push the h pawn at all. But I feel that something is going to happen in the middle of me getting organised.
Blue Crew's on my wavelength, all about Queen G2 cheapos. It's not happening though, unfortunately.
I mean, knight e7 is a move I quite like. And maybe you'll go bishop h4 or knight f5 and they'll agree a draw. That would be pathetic, but it wouldn't be so stupid. Because bishop takes knight is now a positional threat, I'd say. Because if you play, just to leave black loose, really.
Yeah.
And so probably you have to play knight f5 again, bishop f2. Now you could also play maybe queen c6 first.
Just to try and reroute to there.
Yeah, try to voluntarily reroute. Indeed, yes. Now the question is whether
that's all right, isn't it? Because that's also threatening rook a4.
Rook a4 is much of a threat. But I'm worried that d5 is going to happen here, and something's going to happen.
Okay, d5
I
now.
don't know how it's going to work exactly, but
take it.
Yeah, you got to take the queen. Yeah, and now I play a strong move, whatever that is. It may not exist, of course. Maybe bishop b6 actually. No, bishop b6 loses to rook takes and queen c5. Excuse me. So rook d1, queen c6. Nothing seems to be happening, but black's getting a bit looser. Maybe, is he? I don't know. If he needs temper to play knight e7, then I'll have rook d6. So rook a2 or rook d2. Knight e7, I'm going to play rook to the 6th. I'm going to hope that I somehow smash my way through.
Yeah.
If knight d5, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe just queen h4 and queen h5 is going to be... Oh, then there'll be rook g2 check, but maybe I still don't care. Well, queen h4 is good.
G2 check.
Well, no, there isn't yet, but after queen h5 there will be.
All right.
So we're going to move the queen backwards to stop checkmate in one move. Queen c7 or c8, one of those two squares.
Oh yeah, this checkmate on here.
That particular checkmate, yes, indeed.
That one we want to stop.
And now queen h5, there will be rook g2 check. King f1. Who knows, Can you play rook to its bishop? Well, queen h8 looks as though it's going to cause a bit of an accident to me once it happens.
Right, so...
I mean, both sides are almost lost at this point.
Both sides are almost lost. So we had actually, John, he tried to get his king to g8.
Right.
He's gone king f8, and white's gone king h2.
Then has he gone king g8?
No, not yet. He might. He might still do it.
I mean, it makes some sense, I think. But I'm not sure the rook is that great in g6. I mean, it's not. So there's a question, can you go rook b5, queen takes, pawn takes, rook d5 or something? I think rook a2 then is going to be okay, probably. I was wondering, can you smash this up in time? Because obviously if black can coordinate the forces on both sides of the board, black should be doing well.
Yeah.
But the queen isn't stable on d5. So there's also the move, maybe queen c1 to prepare rook b5. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Oh, we need to put king g8 in or something first.
Yeah, okay, so now queen c1.
Yeah.
Because now we're going to double rooks, and then we're going to play, given black doesn't have any big hits at the moment, which we're hoping.
Yeah.
But you can go h4 now, and then you are teeing up to play h3, of course, in lots of positions. So I'll play rook b5, I'll try.
Yeah.
And he'll go queen, maybe a8.
Okay.
Now maybe d5 now, I mean, because that also stops h3. This sort of looks like a move. And I can go h3, g4.
Yeah.
But h3, g4, knight e7, still f3 is loose. So maybe h3 here is really dangerous at this point. because knight d5, cleans everything up. As soon as you get knight takes d5, it's black's just winning. And if I take, then queen f3 seems to cause a major incident. Or I can maybe go d6, queen takes pawn, d6, queen takes pawn, queen g1, rook g4. I suppose I'm getting mated. Yeah, I'm getting mated before the pawn queens, and the pawn doesn't queen anyway. So that was a disaster for white. So maybe the queen should stay where it can defends f3. And then I have to think how to do that. I'm because okay, let me play rook b4 then. It's a normalish move.
Rook b4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe he can play b5, but I mean, all right, if he does. And we'll have to see what happens. So I double rooks on the b line.
Like that. Okay, let's
take
the a pawn.
Oh, I'll play rook b8 check.
King.
Now I'm going to put my rook somewhere along that 8th rank. I don't know where. Say maybe even f8 because that threatens. Yeah, maybe. Oh, there's rook a8. Rook a8 is necessary now because I'm threatening rook b8 and wins. So now I play rook takes pawn, and that's nice because it prepares to play it. But he goes a3, a2, and probably this is good for black now. So rook a8 was probably refuting this.
Right.
So let's see if we can do better than that. After rook b8 check, king h7, let's go back and wonder if there's any move in this position. I could try rook bb7, but still he can go a3 or he can go rook a8 anyway, in fact. I mean, it looks as though this is just not working to me.
Okay.
I mean that move is moved, but you don't need to do it yet. You can go a3 first. And probably you're promoting a pawn in the strongest possible terms. Okay, so the next question is whether after b5, if we go back to after b5, which is several moves earlier, if I can play rook takes b5 in this position. So rook takes, queen takes, pawn takes, rook takes, and d5 clearly gets played now. And the idea is you're going to try to push too many pawns.
White's got a lot of pawns coming down the board, so
so this is unclear to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was also b6, but I thought d5. If knight e7, I'll go d6 and move my queen. There is rook a2. Maybe there's rook a2 in the previous position instead of knight e7. Maybe rook a2, and maybe it goes king g1, rook checks, king h2, rook h2. Maybe that's a draw. I don't know.
Right.
Because I don't think d6 is good. Well, we could look at d6. d6, rook takes bishop, d7. No, rook a2 instead of knight.
Rook a2.
Play rook a2, yeah. Now I was looking at d6 here. Rook takes bishop, d7. Rook takes pawn, probably the f rook, I'm guessing. To there. Yeah.
So you think this is at least a draw for black then?
No, I don't know, because I mean, because you can play king h3, and then you can actually bring the other. I was thinking I could play rook g1, pawn equals queen, king h7, but then there's queen to d2 to h2,
right,
stopping it. And if rook g3 takes, king h2, then probably the b pawn's going to clean queen, isn't it?
Okay.
Now you may have enough play here to get a draw as black.
Now William's going to regret his king being all the way on g8.
Well, maybe, but on the other hand, he's safe, and so So, this is very complicated.
Yep.
Really very complicated. Now, maybe b5 was a mistake if this line is good for white. And it could be. But I'm still not convinced that even this is good, because black has got quite a serious attack with the rook and the knight and the many pawns.
Oh, I see. So even if white queens, it might be fine for black.
I don't know if it might be fun for black, but it might be interesting at least. So let's play rook takes pawn. Pawn equals queen. Actually, if you play rook takes pawn, pawn equals queen, king h7, and then ask its Sublime Majesty, it'll probably give you a huge white line. Just go b6 probably, and there won't be a perpetual check, will there?
No.
No, there will not be a perpetual check, and thus this will be winning.
Okay.
Probably this is just winning, and I don't think you can play with rook and knight against two queens, really.
All right. So we went rook b4 and then knight e7.
Is that what happened?
Yes. So we were looking at b5.
We were looking at b5. Knight e7 may well be a better move to put the knight on a better square, yeah. Okay, so we're going to... Now if the knight gets to... Yeah, that's where the horse needs to be, isn't it? That's a very good move, knight. Well, no, bishop h4 must be the move now.
Right. And this is what we looked at before, that
possibility. That's basically forced.
Okay. And so we were talking about the knight coming back and it being a draw.
If you go knight c6 now, I can play rook b5, and it all breaks. Yeah, so probably knight f5. Now rook b5, because now takes loses, of course.
Oh, because the knight's on at the end.
Because the knight hangs, yeah. So that's completely winning, yes.
Yeah. So instead, knight back, okay. And then we've been in this position before.
Yeah, but probably we just double rooks or something.
Oh, we haven't been exactly this position before.
We haven't been in this position exactly. I think we leave the bishop on h4 because we're happy. We probably double rooks, actually.
Right. Okay, John, I'm going to take a
break.
A break. Do you want to break? It would take like a 5-minute break.
Let's have 5 minutes because I don't have control of the position.
Yes, fine. I'm going to leave it on one of the top boards, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. So see you all shortly.
Indeed, peoples. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi there. Welcome back, everyone. Hi, John. Hi there. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, Natasha.
Okay. I'll just take you off and on the stream again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now? Chat, can you hear us both or just John? Right. I'm going to suggest, John, you hear both. Right. Chat can hear us both. So if you dial out and in again, John, like you did before, that should
You
sort
probably hear me eating peanuts, which is very exciting.
I can see you
I
eating.
can't hear you, mate.
Right. I'm going to try and chat to you on private chat.
Can the crowd hear you?
Yes, they can.
They can.
Yes.
Hi, Pussycat. Come talk. Come talk to the British Championship.
Right, John.
Ginny.
Hi, John's cat. What's your cat called, John?
I can't hear you at the
Oh,
moment
you
still.
can't. All right, so you're going to need to dial off and on.
Shall I leave and come back? I'll leave and come back.
Yeah, you do that. See you in a minute. Lovely cat, yeah. Sorry, the crowd, no, of course, that wasn't meant in a derogatory way. That was definitely the esteemed audience is exactly what I meant. Let's see if John can hear.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
That's good. Okay, fantastic. All righty.
Here is my Pussycat.
Yes, what's she called, or he?
She is called Ginny after Virginia Woolf.
Okay.
I did not name her. My wife did. My son did. Her sister is called Zora after Zora Neale Hurston.
Okay. So hi to Ginny. How old's Ginny?
About 13. She shares a birthday with Nigel David Short, I think.
Okay.
So it's June the 1st, some long time ago.
Okay.
She was about 13.
Right. Now, what about this game then? We were looking at it before. Nick Pert and Ezra Kirk.
Well, it looks hugely bad for black, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty awful for black.
So rook on the 7th can get 2 rooks on the 7th maybe, and...
Well, whose move is that?
It is White's move.
So rook dd7 is certainly not... There is 95 then, I suppose. It's not the end of the world. It looks pretty awful to me.
Yeah.
It looks as though I think he'll win this anyway. I mean, I think my feeling is that's probably not a great idea. It doesn't really help very much. But it just looks like a position where White is going to win somehow.
Yep.
I don't know exactly how.
Yes.
I mean, okay, I don't like rook dd7 very much. Yeah.
All right. Let's see John M's. Now, John... Oh, this already finished, actually. So John has lost against...
He has lost, has he?
Matthew Wadsworth, yes. We saw it up to here, didn't we? Up to A4.
Yeah.
B3 we looked at.
Yeah.
We did see these things. Rook C7.
So he just stayed calm.
93.
Yeah.
And I think we were thinking this wasn't too bad. D4.
Well, it's 2 pawns. It's just a question of whether you can somehow get some counterplay.
Yeah. Knight C4, bishop F4. Takes.
He's been very calm, hasn't he, actually?
John or Matthew?
Well, yeah, Matthew has.
Yeah. Queen F6. Rook D1. Okay. Yeah, and this extra D pawn is...
That's enormous. And okay, yeah.
Enormous.
Also, he's got a winning attack now.
This mate is enormous, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, well played to Matthew.
Well, very well played, I think, actually, yeah.
Very well played to Matthew, who has been having a very good tournament. Let's see, I can just show you this like that. So actually, wow, yeah, I mean, it's a really good tournament. So he's had draws with Cullen Brewer, Adam Taylor, and Keith, and he's beaten Alfie Onslow, Lanyao, Jonah Willow, and John Ems.
So he's basically got... He must be...
5, 9, 5, 7. So he must be in the lead, right? With the other, as part of this group that's going to be a big group in the lead.
There is going to be quite a big group, isn't there? You probably better get off, sweetie pie. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Let's check it in on David Eggleston against Brandon Clark.
I thought that was, yeah.
This was this one. Now, Brandon is getting his pieces active, actually. He's just put his rook in on d3.
Yeah. He looks like he's fighting hard now, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he's excuse me, he's like a pawn down, but he is now
Fighting hard.
Fighting hard, exactly, which is what he needs to do.
Yeah, I don't know if rook 3d2 if you play rook takes rook or not. I imagine you do. So yeah, he's done better than I think he probably should have done, actually, but I think probably rook takes rook is what you play now. And probably he recaptures. I don't know if he takes the queen. This looks white's more or less okay, I think. Right. Perhaps even king takes, just to keep everybody really tight.
Okay, yeah, and we can't take on e5 or anything like that. So no. Yeah, okay, so you just recapture then.
And then there is this pin on the, and you know, there are things going to happen. But I guess you're going to
have... Oh, what, like rook f1?
Oh, rook f1, there's queen g3.
Rook f1.
I thought maybe rook b1, but I hadn't seen rook f1 actually. No, that's not probably a bad idea because you've
it doesn't looks exciting, but it doesn't work. Okay.
But I mean, this looks unclear to me. I mean, in practical terms, anyway. So.
Yep. Okay, rook 1d2. Rook 1d2 he played, and so we had queen h4.
Yeah.
That's the position.
Well, he's got g2 to attack as well now. He's got a lot of fun. I mean.
Wait, what?
I mean, g2 is a nice target, you know, after bishop.
Very much so. Yeah, I was just seeing if we could get into it.
Probably knight bishop d5 at the moment. There's knight f4, I think, probably.
Right. So if bishop d5, knight f4.
And that causes, and also for d4, knight takes bishop is really annoying. So that's not a good idea.
Yes. Oh, but it has been played.
Well. Now presumably you should play knight.
Knight f4 now. We are expecting, and then what's the big?
Is queen g7 possibly a move? On a really good day, queen g7 will work.
Queen g7. Gosh.
I want to play g4 now. I don't want to play g4, but I think I probably need to.
You'll have to do something, yeah. Oh.
Or no, maybe I can just play queen g4. Actually, that'll give the advantage. Queen g4 takes rook g3. Might end up as a draw.
Takes rook g3.
But actually, after rook g3, I'll go e6 and laugh at you, and that's not good. That's winning for white, probably.
Yeah.
So you might have to go rook to d1 rather than rook to g3, and try to get the rook in. But I mean, the e pawn's quite dangerous. It's quite good for white.
Yeah.
But I guess he's going to do something like that, or bishop g2 and something. So
knight f4. It actually went rook d4.
Yeah, knight takes bishop.
Oh, attacking the queen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So knight takes bishop.
Yeah.
Hasn't
that caused a major incident?
So, black would have to recapture?
Yeah, well then probably queen h6. I mean, just play chess. I mean, it's much, much better for white now. And there's no danger because I don't know if that's the best, but I mean, there's also rook f4 possibly, but I mean.
All right, let's wait a minute. Wait. So we've got rook d4 and knight takes bishop is what we're proposing. And so if we just simply recapture that knight either way, queen takes there.
Well, there's queen.
Yeah.
Well, I just think white's got the advantage. I'm not saying white's winning or anything.
Yeah.
And I noticed that there are moves like rook g2 check. I just don't believe them.
Yeah. What about queen g7?
That is an interesting move.
I'm trying so hard for black because I yesterday said I thought Brandon had good chances of winning the tournament.
Well, queen g7 is a wonderful move, what I had missed. And that is his idea. Well done. Very well done. That's caused a major incident, actually.
A counter major incident.
A counter major incident. And that actually is going to win, isn't it? Because there is...
So rook f2
rook takes queen, rook takes rook.
We have knight d5 on the board, so this could happen.
Well, I think it's a winning move. It's a beautiful move.
Queen g7 is played in a flash. So we have this position on the board.
And your man is
what
now...
What about rook g6 against this, says someone? It says checks Twitch. Rook g6. We can just take it. Right?
Does that make a draw? Maybe it does. Yeah, rook g6 does make a draw. That's rather wonderful, actually.
Oh, because then you're going queen e7 check.
Yeah. And if king a6, right, you have knight c7 check. That's rather wonderful. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. Rook g6 is the only move. Sorry, I shouldn't have seen queen g7. Now you have to take the rook. Queen e7, king to there. Now, is there any chance to play for a win with b5 check?
King to a6 are we doing?
With king a6, I'm wondering if I can play b5 check then.
b5 check.
I don't think so, because no, the queen covers b1. Sorry, that's crap. The queen covers b1, so it's ridiculous.
Okay. Knight c7 check you can do.
Is a draw, yeah.
Is that a draw?
Yes.
King back. Knight b5 check.
Well, then rook d7. So let's just go knight d5 check again.
Right. Knight d5 check, and this is a draw.
I believe so.
Gosh. Oh, hang on, but this isn't happening. Queen g7, he's done something else. He's done g4.
Oh, right.
And then we've got rook takes d5.
And the game continues.
And the game continues. There you go. That was a bit different.
Now, probably queen... So rook g6 was a draw. Now, what is going on here?
That was move 40, by the way. So white could now have a think.
Well, he probably ought to, oughtn't he? It looks like...
I should think so, yeah.
Queen h6 may be a move now.
Queen h6.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're losing as white because although your king is very exposed, you've got... I think it's okay. But it's very scary.
Yeah.
g6 would have been quite sensible.
I think Brandon would then try and keep the queens on with...
Well, of course he'll keep... Yeah. If he takes the queens off, he might be able to draw, but he certainly can't win.
Yeah. So he might have queen d7 or something like that.
With d7, I thought there might be rook d6 would be annoying.
Okay. Yep.
So I thought queen e7 maybe.
Queen e7.
And now for rook c6, there'll be queen b4, and that queen looks a bit close to the bone to me.
Right, yes.
And I'm terrified as white, even if I'm all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to play this position. So for queen e7, I'll play queen f4 actually.
Yeah. Right. So black could try and still take... if we try and take the b pawn, we've got to look out for rook f7.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
And it could be going either way. But I think this is all right for. This doesn't look actually that dangerous for white.
Oh, he's played something different again though. So we had rook takes d5. He's gone actually e6.
It's also quite a sensible move, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that also prepares rook f7. And if king a6, if king a6, you can go e7. Rook e1, pawn equals queen, and presumably you're winning. Yeah, I mean, even so, you have to watch out for e7, for sort of pawn equals queen, queen c7, and make sure nothing happens bad on h2.
He played it pretty fast. He must be very happy with it.
Yeah. Well, you may be right, of course.
Mm.
He is. Remember, he is actually sweating and playing the game. I'm
Playing the
just sort of
game,
sitting there, making rather stupid suggestions, and not thinking very hard. So rook h5, by the way, doesn't work as a rook f7 check.
Uh-huh.
Definitely doesn't work. I think he's right. Yeah, he is right. E6 is a good move, and he's actually playing very well. So he probably saw rook g6, but still thought.
He thought g4 was stronger. Was
Yeah.
good enough. Yeah.
I mean, because
Because he's winning and we were doing a forced draw.
I mean, because king a6, e7 does look pretty. You only have one move as black to do something.
Yep.
Probably it is winning, isn't it? Actually, I mean,
I can't even see any defence.
well, nor can I at the moment.
To rook f7.
I can't. Well, I mean, king a6 is defensive.
Yes, just get so it's not check. So you then at least got queen d4.
Well, then you'd win. But I mean, but I mean, king a6, e7. The pawn does seem to be stomping down the board in the strongest possible terms. And if rook d1, you probably just rook f7 check, of course, because the queen protects.
Yep. Alrighty, so that's looking winning for white.
Is there rook f5? I don't suppose there is there?
Rook f5.
No, because rook takes rook, queen d4 check, rook f2. Nothing.
Oops, right, rook f2.
That's the end of that.
That's the end.
Yeah, that's the end of that with the queen.
Oh, unlucky for Brandon because he looked like he had chances there in that.
He did, yeah, but I think he's got done by really quite good tactics.
Mm.
And they're really quite dangerous, all these guys, aren't they? I mean, these guys rated round about the 2400s and the big 2300s.
Yeah.
They're all really quite good players.
That's true.
I mean, this British show, indeed. Oh, so I've got the Crypto Cup in this window, which is not what I want, is it? This is not what I want.
Right. Let's check in this one. We haven't been there yet. Burt Whistle against Jackson.
But by the way, Queen h8 is suggested by the Great Engine.
Oh. As a plausible chance, or just?
Well, no. I mean, e7, rook d1, okay, of course white wins.
Yeah.
But you play a couple more moves anyway.
Yeah.
Because you have the e-pawn. The queen h8 is the only move suggested that gives any chance at all, which I did not see, I have to say.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Nick looks just like he's... I suppose rook d7 is going to happen. She's going to cause a bit.
Okay, James Jackson has already won against Nigel Burt Whistle.
Which one was that?
I wonder why this isn't giving results on there already. My chess. I'm going to just press refresh on my chess 24. So if anything bad happens, that's what I've done.
Doesn't look particularly. I've got some results on Lichess as well.
Yeah, no, this is better now. It's updated. Okie doke. What about Rich Pert against Peter Wells? Let's check back in on there.
That's going.
So.
Well, it looks as though
Peter had sacked the exchange, we think.
He had.
Yes.
And basically, it's not quite working, is it? But he's fighting.
Yes.
I mean, that's what's happening, and yeah,
Fine.
I mean,
they've made time control. They're on move 41 now. Rich has just played f takes c4.
And Peter, of course, according to this engine, has 0.00.
Oh, really?
So he probably had about a second left, I should think.
Yeah.
That would be the likely amount he'd have.
Okay.
This game...
Well, we haven't looked at Katarzyna today.
Gormani, by the way, is attacking on the dark squares with extreme prejudice.
Okay. I'll put Kata on first. So Neil Bradbury White against Kata. This is on board 15.
15, I'm just looking.
And
3,
so
4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it looks slightly. I thought maybe it was slightly better for black, but the engine is saying equal. Okay, I mean,
saying it's a draw.
so saying it's equal actually completely
Equal, yeah.
after 86.
Yep.
Which
Okay.
seems reasonable. Hepton.
And did Lanyao has actually lost, has she already on that Alakines game?
I don't know.
Let's check that as well, because I think Lanyao was half a point ahead for the women's going into this round.
She's got to a position where she's clearly worse. She's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's a pawn down, but she's succeeded in getting all her boys and girls onto squares where they make some sense.
Oh, that rook's got out a bit because that was sitting on h2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really having
You're going to play rook g5 at the end to defend that pawn, and then the game is going to continue.
So her rook has got more interesting, and she's threatening rook g4 check. So
she is. So rook g5 is obviously the only move.
Rook g5 for Aravamudin.
I mean, rook f3 isn't so stupid either, as the engine says. Queen takes, pawn takes, rook takes, queen is probably a draw. But rook g5 gives a clear advantage.
Right.
Because the queen is wonderful in the middle of the board, isn't it? You know, a lot of chess is just putting your pieces in the middle of the board and hoping, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of my chess is that, anyway. You know, just believing that actually. So I don't know how that happened, but obviously there's some sort of. She won the piece, but she lost the piece back, and then the game continued.
Okay. Fine. We were going to check back in on Danny Gormali, so let's do that.
But I think Queen e2 is a very bad move in this game. So there should have been some way to. Oh no, maybe it was. Yeah. Danny Gormali, I think, is going to mate the guy very soon.
Oh, yeah. John Merriman's just played f5 on move 41. And can Danny just come in with Queen f6, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, he's not immediately winning, but he's got all the dark squares on the board.
Yeah. Or just take on g6, actually.
Well, then rook takes f8 is the idea. You played f5. The point is you couldn't take the bishop because of queen f6 check, which would have caused an accident. By playing f5, you at least fight. Danny maybe could have put him away. I'm guessing probably round about here, Danny was probably completely winning at some moment.
Okay, bishop d6.
I think bishop f8 is probably a little bit. Yeah, well, he's gone bishop d6, so king h7 happens now, presumably, and then white starts bringing rooks up the board, rook e3 or something, and black's position is really pretty foul, but black tries to play for a bit. You know, it's not the end of the world.
Sorry, guys, I've made my chessboard too big now.
Oh, is your chess?
No, I've got to work it out to undo what I just did.
You have, or you could leave and join again, or.
Yeah, all right. Let's refresh my. Do you think that would do the trick? It's going to have saved my settings, isn't it? Oh my goodness! Now everything's huge.
Probably.
Well, people were saying the chessboard wasn't big enough.
Right. Wait a minute. What is it that makes it bigger and smaller? I can't remember. I think maybe.
Oh, there we go. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Was it Alt plus you did, or Alt minus?
No, it must have opened. I must have clicked on something to open.
Because I think it's Control plus or Control minus or something. Where I'm using Opera, which I don't know. Control plus has done that. Let's see what Control minus does, if that does the same thing.
Anyway, we're back to standard size.
I don't know. There's Alt plus as well, and Alt minus, which don't seem to be. I mean, those are sort of the random keys you try, aren't they? Well, I would try random keys and see what happens. Right, okay. Well, I assume this is going to be very, very good for white, but it's going to require a bit of work. I mean, you play king h7 and you pretend you're okay.
Yeah.
You do have a d pawn to push as black, which sort of allegedly makes you happy, but maybe queen to f6 takes easy. I mean, anyway, the game continues for a while, and Danny will have a lot more fun than his opponent.
We're expecting Danny to pull through.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think he missed bishop g5 f5. He probably thought he was just winning at that point. So he may be a bit annoyed. I'd be a bit annoyed by that.
Right, let's see Mark Hebden against Max Turner, board 14.
I mean, actually, he should probably have gone bishop g7 check when he had the chance, just to, because, I don't know. Anyway, what was this?
This is board 14, Hebs against Max Turner. We've got a rook and pawn ending. Hebs.
Oh, that's right, with about 14, yeah. It's amazing you think that Hebden is on board 14, isn't it?
He hasn't had a great British. I mean, he's had a fantastic year, but he hasn't had a great British. So he won the English and the Worlds and the English seniors and a whole lot of stuff. But this tournament, he's been struggling a bit more.
Well, I mean, I guess he's going to go rook c3 and rook e3 check or something, and it's going to be all right for white. But black apparently is okay according to this engine. I would have thought that that pawn on g7 was such a problem that something might happen.
Right. So Hebs might have winning chances if he can get to that g7.
Well, yeah, if you can get to that g7 pawn, you have wonderful winning chances.
Yeah.
But, allegedly you can't get there. I mean, I'm sure the engine's right, because, why wouldn't it be? I mean, it's a clever little engine, and it's, because, I mean, I think it goes pretty like rook c3, rook d4, rook checks, king f8. You can't play rook e4 there, because if takes. Oh, sorry, I played king f8 anyway, so it's completely ridiculous. I was thinking with the king and d8 that you might be able to try to make a breakthrough as white, but of course black can bring his king back. Okay, well, it says equal, but I think Mark is more likely to win than his opponent.
Yeah. But if you go rook b3 and try and get in that way.
Yeah, you can do. I thought you couldn't quite get in. Now, his neck is still a bit better. I mean, black takes his pawn and you play rook a6, rook d3 check or something, and maybe if you're lucky as black, you manage to get a 2v3 or a 1v2. It's about what's going to happen, I think.
Are you talking about?
I'm talking about Nick Pert at the moment.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. And then
Yep. So Nick Pert against Ezra Kirk, we have.
And Brandon Clark found Queen h8, which is very well done, actually.
Oh, okay.
Well done him.
I'll go to that board. Brandon Clark is there. It's board 4.
Yeah, well done him finding Queen h8.
Yes.
Queen h6 is just such a simple move. And you put the queen in f4, and then you play e7, and then you say, well, are you happy? And obviously you're not. With a pawn. Oh, I mean, we know it's winning. It's just a question of, can it be messed up? And it certainly can be quite easily.
Okay. So, yeah, he's going to have to move his queen again then. And
yeah,
to mess it up, you'd what? Queen b8 could threaten.
Yeah, but going queen f4, I think, is going to be. And there's nothing really happening with the queen in f4. And white's pieces are close enough that nothing awful is going to happen to him. And if nothing awful happens to white, then he wins now.
Yeah.
It's gone past the point at which you need anything very special to happen.
Yep. Okay.
You just need something unspecial not to happen now.
All right. Let's look if there's any of the lower boards where we haven't seen it yet. So let's have a look at Sheila Jackson against Peter Finn on board 24.
Okay, I'm looking now.
So another rook and pawn ending we have.
That should be very okay for Sheila, I would think. I mean,
the extra pawn, it looks like.
She's got the extra pawn.
And 2 pass pawns.
And 2 pass pawns, and with the rook on d2, nothing very bad is happening to her. You can put the rook in f2 as well. So I would say she has a clear advantage.
Actually, does that take her right back into the... She's on 2 out of 6, so if she wins this, she's on 3.
I don't know how the women are doing.
Let's just see how many... I can check that. So Lanyao... Because if Lanyao loses and She's on 3.5. So Sheila would be half a point off the lead.
Right.
And Kat
Okay.
if she draws, because she's on 3.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's looking good for Sheila there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Peter Finn is the guy who blundered against Lanyao, isn't it?
Peter Finn, yes. Played Lanyao, definitely.
And he played a move that allowed mate in 2 moves.
Okay.
Position. He allowed
Right.
a small incident.
Yes.
Because it is in the Observer on Sunday.
Okay. He'll be
exciting.
pleased to know that, I guess. Let's see Oscar Pollock against Steve Jones.
Where's that?
That is board.
Oh, I can see it. I can see it.
Can you see it? 20.
Whose move is it? It's saying it's equal.
White's just played knight f6.
And apparently it's equal, which isn't obvious to anybody, is it? Maybe queen f7 is okay. Oh, then queen d5 chat.
If I had to guess, I'd say it's better for white.
So would I. I'd think that queen and knight were going to do something horrible. But
Although black's got an extra pawn.
Apparently queen f7 is okay.
Queen f7.
I mean, knight d5, there must be bishop e4, and it all falls apart.
Oh, golly, you'd think like queen... I was looking at queen d8. Check.
Yeah, then king e6, I think.
Okay. And then if you take the bishop, you take the knight, and then the knight's the best bit, isn't it? So.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you've got queen f4 check and perpetual check and lots of positions.
Yeah.
The pawn endings, I think, are allegedly drawn, probably, or maybe even good for that. I don't know.
You'd have to go back to d5, but then bishop e4 is possible. So, okay, fine.
I don't really know. I mean,
so let's head back to Nick Pert, Ezra Kirk.
Back to Nick Pert, indeed. Where I think rook d5 is obviously the right move, and the ending continues. I mean, it's, you know, you must do something about that c pawn. So there's no question that you play rook takes d5, which he has. I assume Nick will play rook takes a6, as you do. A rook c6 is the engine, actually. Rook a6, rook c5. And is claiming that actually... Of course, there's a rook c5, king d4, c3 trick, isn't there?
King d4, c3. So you can't go king d4. But you could go king d2, couldn't you?
Yeah, I have rook c5, you go king d2, then you go check, king c2, and then you swap the c pawn for the a pawn, is the point.
Yes.
So rook c6 actually is a better move. Because, yeah, if rook takes... Sorry, I'm doing it for my board, which is there's no point.
Right.
Yeah, he has gone rook c6, yeah.
Rook c6.
He has two. Now, I'm not sure how we're doing this now. Maybe rook d3 check and rook a3. I mean, the king's going to f5, but it's not the end of the world. So rook a3. Rook takes d4. King g7. Probably king f5 because you have to. Rook takes pawn check. King takes pawn. Rook a3, and the game continues. And white plays
g4.
Well, g4 there is rook h3 maybe.
Right.
Rook h3, and if you go up and take them, it'll be a draw. So maybe you have to go king g4 first and then h4.
Okay.
King g6 you can't play, so you play f6 now. Probably. Then there's king h5 though, which is upsetting. It is upsetting. Now black's in trouble. Black's in serious trouble.
Okay, interesting. So f6 can't be right then.
f6 is a mistake, yeah. So I'd better play maybe rook a2, h4, rook a3, king f4. Now I can play f6 maybe, but it's quite dangerous. I don't like this very much. I mean, I'm going to have to sit here, I think, and let white advance. It's dangerous. It feels... Even if the engine can defend it, I can't very easily. Oh, I tell you what I ought to do. No, I tell you what I ought to do. If we go back, I ought to play a5 to prepare king g6.
Okay.
So if we go back a few moves.
Here?
No, get to the ending. So let's go rook a3. Rotates pawn. King g7, king f5. Rotates pawn with check. King takes to there. Rook a3. King to there. Now I'm going to go a5.
Yeah.
Because that gives my king the g6 square. Now h4. And probably king g6. h5 check. King h6. Quite dangerous, isn't it? King h4.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to try rook a1.
Now f6. Oh, rook a1. Okay.
Yeah, because I need to put the check from behind.
Yes.
So now we're going to go. So now something's going to happen, but while it's happening, probably it's going to be just about okay for black, I suppose.
Okay.
But maybe not. It's close. King g4 I'm going to play, actually. Because if it's inconvenient, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'm definitely perturbed as black.
Yeah.
Maybe I just have to sit. Just play rook a3 now.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to do very much. The other thing you could have maybe gone g4 the previous move. I don't know what happened then. I'd check to get the king away, and then so if you went g4, I'd give it check anyway. So I have to. Now maybe go rook a1 again. King f4. Give it check again. Now I'm going to go king g5.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to claim that's okay. It may not be true. You can maybe just bring the king over to d5 and start attacking the a pawn. I've got pretty good losing chances here. I'll try f5. Take it. Rook takes check. King c6. Check. King b5. King takes pawn. And we can ask an engine. Engine will tell us now.
Yeah. I mean, that king's quite far away.
Yeah, it's certainly
You
very.
had to cut it off to about. I thought you had to cut it off to the G
If
file.
you can cut it in the C file, then you win. Actually, yeah, just by going king takes pawn and pushing, it's probably lost. I mean, you probably just go takes and then king b5 and start pushing. It's probably completely lost, actually.
Yeah.
So I haven't defended it particularly well. It felt pretty nasty to me. I don't know if I've got it right, but I mean, clearly White's playing to win, and plus or minus a few tempi. Yeah, no, if you have king a8 and a7 and the black rook's in b1, then if the black king is in the c file, you go rook over king to the d file, rook over king to the e file, rook b8, and you win. If it's on the d file, then the king gets to c7 in time. Does that make sense? Is that enough for the? Do you need to show that, or you'd have to set?
I'd have to get to the position to show it. I think we could.
Yeah, no, it's too much of a pain. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this should be completely winning. I think anyway, because they.
Yeah. All right.
So,
it's not forced to get into this position. We think.
No, I don't think so. If the engine says it's not winning, then I've missed a better defense in the rook ending. But I'm not sure what it is immediately. Rook c6 is definitely a good move. I thought you really had to go check and rook f3.
So.
I mean, there is rook d2 as well, but I just didn't think that. Didn't make much of that. No, yeah, it's just check and rook d2 is conceivable, but it felt to me like White would have time to do everything he wanted to. He'd have time to go rook takes pawn, rook c6, and then get in g4 as well.
Okay.
That looked pretty bad to me.
Yeah.
I thought that was probably winning.
Yeah.
So that's why I went check and rook a3 and king g7. And I thought that was reasonably... King f5 looks like the right way to do it to me. But it could be wrong. Takes, king takes, and then we start this stuff.
Yeah.
And Black's basic problem is, well, he hasn't got the g6 square for his king for a long time, which I think is a real problem. I think he must go rook a3 here, probably. I definitely want to go king g4. Because the problem is I can't go king g6 because of check and rotates pawn. And if I go f6, king h5, it looks pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Maybe you can go king f7, check, king e6, check, king up rotates pawn. I don't see Black's doing enough. I just don't think this is going to work. Yeah, I mean, if you go back, I'll go king g6, and I just think this must be lost.
Yeah.
So f6 looked lost. So I thought I had to play a5 to give the king the g6 square. And then there was this move h4, and I'm not really happy. So a5, h4. Maybe king h6 now, actually. I don't know. A good idea, maybe?
Yeah.
Is that going to tempo? And still h5 worries me. Because I don't think f5 is... f5, probably you can play king f... Maybe you can play f5 here and get away with it. King h4, though.
And then maybe bring the rook back.
No, probably rook a1, yeah. Check, king, rook c6 check. Probably no h6 check and king g5, but we'll be able to attack the g pawn before we get mate, I suppose.
Maybe we should just go back to there.
Perhaps yes. Now king g5.
Take the a pawn.
Well, then king f5 is completely winning.
Okay.
I think.
King.
Well, check. Actually, check and king f5 first. So rook to there, we go check and king g6, and that wins. I thought it had to be rook a3 or rook g1. That's completely over because we kick him out. So if rook g3, I was going to go check. I think rook a3 is hopeless because I go rook checks, king g8, g4, pawn takes pawn, g4, king g6. Oh no, there's rook. Now there's rook f3. Sorry. That's rook f to there is a move. That's messed up my idea completely. Because you see what I was trying to do.
I think we've had a move from Nick, actually.
Yeah, I buggered this up because I missed rook f3 the first time around.
Rook c6 he did play.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll let Ezra have a think. Let's see what else we've got still going. So Eggleston Clark, we think is almost over.
But by the way, the ending we had, you just don't. To rook a3, you actually play king f4 and let him take the a pawn if he wants, and then we can move around and we'll win. He's played queen h6. What happened? Queen.
I think it's still
17
minutes think. He's still having a long think. Okay.
He's trying hard. Yeah, doing his, obviously.
The Gormalizer, he is trying to get in on the C file now.
He's certainly trying to get in on the C file, yeah. That does seem to be what is happening, doesn't it?
And
is that completely winning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, I suppose, what is he threatening? Queen?
Well, rook c7 is a bit of a threat.
Right.
Or whose move is that?
It's black to play.
I was wondering about queen e4, and I was thinking maybe then h7 was a move. But maybe that's ridiculous. I just thought that might cause a major incident immediately. But no, I think I can go rook checks, takes, king h7, queen f6, and there's no perpetual. If there's no perpetual, then that's the end of the game, of course.
And queen f6 here.
Yeah, but there's no perpetual.
Rook h8, mate.
Yeah, that's the end of the game.
Yeah, and doesn't look like there's perpetual because that f pawn's still there.
Well, even if the f pawn wasn't actually there.
Actually, yeah, the queen defends.
You need but maybe there would be without the f pawn, but yeah. So I think he's winning. Yeah, I mean the queen and g5 has stopped the d pawn, which is the important thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean normally when you're attacking.
Richard against Peter. So that one. I'm trying to work out what's happening with clock times.
Let's have a look. I'll see if I can. I'll see if I've got it. What board is it? About board 7 or 8?
Yeah, it's board 6.
6. Right, I've got 13 minutes and 7 seconds for Richard, and Peter apparently. Oh! It doesn't know because it thinks he lost on time.
Right.
So this interface thinks he lost on time. Let me try. I'm going to try in Chess Bomb and see if Chess Bomb has got any clock times. Wait a minute. British Chess Championships. I'm not sure actually if it's loading. It didn't seem to be loading in Chess Bomb anyway, for reasons slightly beyond my ken. So no, I mean I think it thinks that he lost on time, but therefore it's given up.
Yes. But he didn't, because I think, yeah.
No, obviously he didn't lose on time, or if he had lost on time, then he wouldn't be playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it's pretty good for white, doesn't it?
Yes.
But there's still chances to cause trouble on a good day.
All right.
Well, it says it, yeah. It's a good day's play, isn't it?
It is a good day's play. Lan Yao, how's she doing now? So queens are off.
So your man played rook e5 check. Yeah, I'm going to look. I'm just going to see. Check here. Rook c3. The engine wanted to go rather than rook a3. That's interesting because rook a3.
Which game are you on, John?
I'm looking at Nick Pert's game, and it wanted to go rook checks and rook c3 rather than. And it thinks the line I was looking at. It is playing most of my moves. And yeah, it's playing the moves I was, but it wanted to go rook checks, king e4, rook c3, which I didn't see particularly. I'm not sure if it's a very good idea.
So we had rook c6, rook e5 check.
Which I think is perhaps a mistake.
A mistake by Ezra Kirk.
Probably, yeah, because you can play king f2, can't you, and just have... You can just be a pawn up.
Oh, and then you can't hold the c-pawn.
No. You can try rook d5, but you go rook c4, rook checks, king e3, rook takes pawn, rook c6. And then white can play g4 in a minute. It's hard to stop. And then you get a position with the rook and the a pawn and f3 and g4, which is a pretty good version for white, I would think. So
white's going to then want to put the rook in.
Well, so serve taking the a6 pawn, and I get an a5. Where's the ideal square for my rook? There is.
But then it's on f5, right?
Yeah, f5 would be wonderful, but I'm not going to be able to get it there, am I? Yeah, if I get it to f5, I'm just winning.
Yeah.
But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play rook a8, a6, and then start bringing my king over. And black is with pawn. He's going to be able to win the f3 pawn. But then I'm going to start threatening to queen the a pawn. And I'd have thought g4 against f7, g5 is a pretty bad pawn structure for black.
Yeah.
Because he can go f5, pawn takes pawn, g4, but, well, you know, I mean, at some point while white's bringing his king over, black will have to try to do something. You know, because you'll go rook checks, king d4, rook takes pawn, rook
We're
c8.
starting from this position. We're going to check. No, it's black's moves here. We've done.
No, we haven't gone g4. We go rook c6 first.
Rook c6.
Yeah. He can go rook 8. Oh, you can play whatever he likes, really, but he probably doesn't go f5, I don't think, because then we go rook f6, check and take more stuff. So he plays rook a2, let's say.
Yeah. So we take the pawn.
Yeah. Now we can try check, actually. That's not too bad. Let's go check. If king e4, I want to try g4.
G4 for black.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that at least gives me some chances. I don't know how that is. That's clearly the best move, though, because it's...
White better take that, I would say.
Yeah. Then we take in g3,
King
f4, and we go rook a3, and the game continues.
Okay.
And actually, it's a 7-piece position, so we can ask a table base if you want me to. I'd have to get the same position on my board, but it would... I would say this is probably a draw. I don't know. I mean, we go rook checks, we go a5, we go a6, and then we start bringing the king over. King g7, I think.
G7.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, e7, you can't really get across. Now, a5. Okay, let's get some checks. Okay, rook checks. No, then king f5, sorry. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, king f5. Oh, no, actually, yeah, then rook a1. a6. Check. King e4. No, rook a5 check. After a6, rook a5 check, because you want to keep on the a5. King e4, rook checks, king d5. Rook takes pawn. Rook either b8 or c8. b8, probably, yeah. I think this is a draw, probably. Rook b8, rook a4, rook b6, f5. So now king c6, f4. Now it's possible, yeah, king b7, f3. Now what is going on here? Maybe rook b3 or something. I don't think white's winning, but it's quite dangerous. You can probably go f2, actually. Yeah. Just go f2 and play rook a2. So probably, maybe the rook should have been on c8 instead of b8, because then I had a tempo with king b5 much earlier.
This is... Oh, black keeps checking.
Black just plays rook a2 and gives lots of checks.
Right, yeah.
Black's in no danger at all, because he gives check, check, check with the king after a7, and white can't do anything.
Yeah.
So this is a draw. I think if we go back a long way, then when I played rook b8, the other move is rook c8, you see, which was, if you go carry on playing moves. Yeah, I played rook b8. Rook c8 is... No. Here... yeah, now in this position, rook c8 is more interesting,
Okay.
perhaps. So rook c8 here. Or maybe even king b c5, actually, but okay. Rook to there, rook a4. Rook c6. Still f5, I think. King c5. f4. Now I have a tempo with king b5, which is maybe going to make this different. Probably not, but probably I can just go something like rook a3 and it's all right. Yeah, I think this is a draw because I just thought the tempo with king b5 might be useful, but actually I don't think it's doing anything at all now.
Okay.
No, I don't think this must be a draw. Okay, so if you get in g4, you're probably okay. I mean, it's just close, you know. All these things, you just play moves.
So we've had some of rook c4, rook d2 check, king e3 is where we're at.
Play. That's happened, yeah?
Yeah. And rook takes h2 has happened as well. So we had this on the board.
Now, can we play g4 first? Or is that ridiculous? He plays...
Danny Gormally won to move to 5 out of 7. Yes. Well done, Danny. That's a good comeback.
Yeah.
All right. He hasn't gone g4. He's gone rook c6. Excuse me.
Yeah, but rook c6. He's got rook c6 now. Now you have to go rook to a2 to a3 check. That's the point. You have time to get in g4.
Yeah.
And you must play g4 because otherwise white's pawns are stable. And that's getting really dangerous.
So we did look at rook at g4, it looks like.
Yeah, but g4 there's rook a2 probably.
Right.
King e4, king g7, king f5, rook a3 should be a draw, I suppose. So I think he's probably just about okay, but it's close. Let me see what I'm just going to. I can fiddle on my board here. So rook a2, rook a6, check, king e4. G4 is indeed the only move. G4 takes pawn, rook takes pawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. Right, after rook g3, I'm going to ask the table base. It says it's a draw, which is what I thought.
Okay.
Because you know on Lee chess you have a table base and 7-piece endings, do you?
Yeah.
That's almost the best feature of the thing.
Oh, okay.
That you just have a table base, a 7-piece table base on tap. It's fantastic, you know, because you're analysing an ending and you play a couple of plausible moves, then you ask the Lord and Master, and it tells you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'm trying to think of some computer boards. Okay, he's played c5. Does that help?
All right, so to get to this draw, we're expecting rook a2, rook a6, rook a3, and this line that we looked at before, g4 takes, and rook g3, and then this is a table-based draw, right?
So Brandon Clark is still fighting a bit.
Let's see Brandon Clark's game.
Yeah, he's trying to.
I mean, I think queens have come off then.
Yeah,
but it is 2 pawns down.
Yeah, it's a question of how you do this too. Let's see, c4, f1. It's not trivial actually, because you're going to go c4 and c3. I mean, he's got. I don't know what the best way to do it is. I mean, you could even play rook e4, but it's a bit odd. He's gone king f1. Okay, so if c4, king
he's going to have to He's going to have to move one of these other pawns all the way up
at some point. Yes.
Yeah.
So c4, king over. You play the rook back. You don't play c3 because then rook e3 is trivial.
Okay, so rook d6.
So c4.
Oh no, rook d6, because then you've got.
Yeah.
Rook. Oh no, that's check. You can do that.
Sorry. So you must. Yeah, so you can go rook d6. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is still a fight. He's not done this well, has he? Okay. So now g5. c3. We go rook back. c2 rook to there. And I suppose actually you are going to win as white. One. Well, this is an 8-piece ending, isn't it? Sadly, yeah. Let me ask the Great Engine. The Great Engine is going to say +8 or something. That's plus 4, f4, c4, g5, says the engine. g5, king b5.
All right, wait a minute. So I've got g5. Is this the right position here, John? King b.
It's okay. I will do it for you in a second. g5 check. Oh, I see. Right. No, have I just made this a draw?
Oh, Brandon has drawing chances after all of this.
Well, he doesn't, but it's pointing out the engine that you can both queen, and the queen stops queen c4 check, stops a check, so that you can win with. But it's not that clear a position actually.
Okay, so he's played c4.
Yeah. He's done very well.
He has.
I'm impressed, So king e1, rook d6, rook d5, or rook d6. And yeah, I mean, it's not such a simple position actually, because black's going to play king b5 and then play that. You can go g5, king b5, g6, c3. Can I play this? Can I go rook e2 and win? If I can win with rook e2, I will.
Rook e2. I'll take d pawn.
Yeah, then I get an h5, king c4 at h5, and this is winning, yeah.
King f1 just wasted a tempo, says b22 c3 Sicilian.
They could be right. I think g5 probably won quite easily. Well, let's think about this. g5, c4, g6, c3, rook e3, c2, rook c3. Yeah, that would have been a lot easier. King f1 did lose the tempo, yes. I mean, he still should win. I mean, it depends. Brandon must not play c3 because then it's simple. But he won't. He'll play something like rook d6.
Okay, we're on the we're on king e1, 52 king e1. If c3, the simple move is rook e3.
Hello.
Hi, John.
I can't hear you again. Sorry,
Okay,
I think
you're going to need
something's
to leave
happened.
and come
I'm
back.
going to reload you again.
Yes, please do. Okay. Catch up with John now. Hello.
Yeah, I think what happened was I clicked on it in my window and something went wrong. It got all upset because I was in another window. Yeah, we should try rook d6, g5. c3, you can just go rook to e3 to c3 and you're going to win.
So rook d6, g5. Yes, so
Yeah.
not c3 of rook e3.
g5. So you can try king b5.
Yeah.
Now we go g6.
G6.
c3.
C3.
Now we can get rook e2.
Rook e2.
Got to take the pawn.
We're looking at rook d7, h4 is where we got to.
And then after that, basically, you're going to play h4 and h5, and it should be easy enough-ish.
So black would keep bringing the king in, I suppose. He wouldn't just give up.
No, he wouldn't give up. He'd go bring the king in.
King in. King b4.
h5.
h5. King b3.
And now I can go h6, and that's simple.
h6. c2, and you can just give the rook up.
Then we have the queen against rook, which would be fun.
How do we though?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we do get queen against rook. No, it's true. Oh no, we do. Yeah, probably. But anyway, we tried to get queen against rook as black.
So white would take the pawn with the rook.
Yeah, take the pawn and then play g7. And actually, you don't even get. Yeah, do you get queen v rook now? Yes, you do. You try check and rook h1, and he goes pawn equals queen, and probably he wins the
check
rook again.
Here and rook h1.
Okay, or you can go rook g1 as well, same thing. Pawn equals queen.
So there's no fork of the rook at the end. So
there
queen
probably is. Yeah, it looks to me like.
It must pass though. The rook and the king are so far apart from
each other. This queen c4 check, and it'll drop off in a minute.
Queen c4 check, and it's going to drop off.
Somehow it's going to drop off, isn't it?
I would think so.
I would think so as well, Natasha. I mean, I think it's fairly simple. Probably 3 or 4 more moves. You better go to the B line.
So we have to go d1 then.
Well, d1, then we go queen to d3 to e3.
Well, I think d2 we go just queen f4.
Yeah, so b2, I thought.
b2, okay.
Yeah. And then I wasn't quite sure how to do it. Now queen d4 check, maybe. I got e3 as well.
Yeah.
King c2, queen e4 check. Yeah, it doesn't take long, does it? Yeah, now queen e2 check.
Right, can't go upwards. Can't go there, so you have to go here.
Now queen to d1 to d2.
Yes, done it. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we know that, but you know, people play these things until the bitter end, don't they?
Yeah, so rook d6 is played. This is following our lines. g5.
G5 is certainly the best move.
Yeah.
King e2, it says as well, king b5. But I mean, he's really botched it quite badly, hasn't he, to make it at all interesting?
Has he? Yeah.
Well, king f1 was a pretty stupid move. Yeah, I mean, I understand he was relaxing. You know, g5 is a much better move, isn't it? Because g5, c4, you've got to push now. g6, c3, rook to there. c2, rook to there. And now you clearly are going to get to a position where you keep your g pawn. You know, I mean, how long did he take? Probably not very long to play king f1. He's tired, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, also.
Now, okay, we can. Should we check back in on the other one? We've really got 2 sort of interesting rook and pawn endings.
Yeah, just got a couple more minutes, and then
a couple more minutes, and then we're done. Yes. Okay. So.
So probably Richard Pert is winning. Well, he is winning this ending, isn't he? Easily.
Yeah.
The 2 connected path pawns.
This is where we actually.
This is still of interest. He's played king b5. Yeah. Pawn to the 6th. Actually, he's not.
We've got 2. Nick's got 2 g pawns now.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Brandon's done it slightly wrong because after king b5.
Oh, it's Brandon. Okay.
Yeah, because now g6 just wins very easily. Because after c3, you're just going to attack it. King up, takes. Take the pawn and go g7 and one of the pawn's queens.
Right.
So that is going to be clear now.
Okay, so that one's clear. That's going to be clearly a win for David Eggleston. So
who's got what? So Keith and Harry Grieve have got whatever they've got.
I'm just going to flick down to the scores. So Matthew Wadsworth, Keith Arkle, Harry Grieve have 5.5. Nick Pert will have, assuming he wins, as well. Also, where's David Eggleston? No, he had 4.5, so he'll have 5.5 too.
Richard Kirk is making quite an effort to lose now, but maybe still not succeeding.
That might be draw still, right? Okay.
Apparently that's still a draw, according to my engine. But I think having a pawn less seems a bit unnecessary to me.
So I think Eggleston will catch up the lead. So it'll be Wadsworth, Arkle, Grieve, Eggy, and perhaps Nick Pert if he manages to win.
Yeah. And so it's going to be quite a collision, isn't it, before
Yes.
final few rounds?
Yes.
I mean, I'd still think that Nick Pert has some reasonable chances of winning this.
Of course he does, yeah. Of course he does.
Know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can maybe play sort of G4 and G6, and I suppose you should go F6 then. If you got taken G5 in, then you could drive the king to the back rank, and that would be very dangerous. So say I play, I don't know, G4, C4, G6. If you take... Yeah, well, then this is... Oh, it's saying it's a draw, but, well, right.
Ah, Richard Pert. We forgot about him. Richard Pert against Peter Wells.
Richard Pert's going to win.
He's going to win, okay.
Clearly, yeah. That's a completely winning rook ending.
Yeah.
It's not even interesting anymore, really.
Okay.
I don't know if you could try king. Well, it doesn't matter.
And this one, is that clear as well, Lanyao?
Lanyao, no, that might be a draw.
She might have held on against all that amazing Alekhines theory.
The amazing Alekhines, yes.
The amazing Alekhines, yeah.
The pseudo-alliteration. Pseudo-alliterative Alekhines, yes.
Yes.
And Sheila Jackson is probably going to win, but apparently this is a draw according to the Great Engine.
Oh, Sheila's?
Right. Yes. Apparently it's a draw according to the Great Engine, which, I mean, it's a position it can tell me the truth in. It's not that it's not incapable of telling me the truth in that position, but...
All right, so we're going to need to wind up. We've got we had lots of really good games today. John, do you have a preference for game of the day today?
Do I have a preference of game of the day? Let me just go. I think O'Malley attacking was quite fun.
O'Malley attacking, why not? That sounds like a good choice.
It's a reasonable choice. I don't know. Were there any other really good? I mean, there's quite a lot of hacking, wasn't there?
There was.
This one has been won by William Claridge Hansen.
That's right.
So that was quite interesting as well.
Yep.
I don't know how he did this. Oh God, he allowed him to put the knight in d5. Is that his head? You can't let the guy put the knight in d5. As soon as you do that, because basically you have to go bishop h4 in this position. It's the only legal move, and he didn't. And as soon as he hadn't done that, his position totally, utterly, and completely sucked. And they say so.
B22 C3 Sicilian is saying Adam Taylor. I think that might be a vote for game of the day. We didn't.
I'm just playing through it now. Oh, this
that one, did we?
By the way, well, Adam Taylor was winning after. But this is something I've known for a long time. This, I think. I'm also not sure. Yeah. Oh, you played something that I've known just loses for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, they played it. Yeah, it's quite an amusing game. It's a little opening trap. Well, Rook F6 is a nice move that I do approve of, yeah.
Cool. All right, so we're going to leave these. There's about 5, and they're all rook and pawn endings. They're all going to take a little bit of time. We need to go. But we think they're all fairly clear now. And we would like to thank everybody very much in the chat.
Absolutely, yes.
Say again?
Yes, absolutely, yes. Thank you.
Yes, it's very nice having all your comments. That's really appreciated. And thanks, John, and thanks everyone very much for watching. Join us again tomorrow. I'm with Matthew.
Who are you going to have tomorrow?
Matthew Sadler tomorrow.
Right. Okay. So it's going to be Matthew at the death.
Yeah, the penultimate round of the Chessable British Championships. So thanks everyone very much for watching.
Okay. Cheers then. It's been a pleasure. Cheers. Bye.